through the storms with up-to-the-minute information as they start to roll into our listening area. We're not going to break format, however, and just cover the storms. They are expected to reach the Madison area probably within the next hour and a half, the Milwaukee area. Sometime after that, probably by about 5 p.m., 5:30. It's still not generally agreed upon just how fast these storms are moving. What we do know, however, is that this is going to be a significant weather event. The conditions are right for the production of tornadoes. Of course, we will bring you the very latest as warnings are issued. Severe thunderstorm warnings will go into effect pretty much throughout this show. As soon as they do, our producer Jeff and me, Dan O'Donnell, will work as fast as we can to bring you the latest information. Folks, we've been through these as many times as, more times, I think, that I can count. We understand being weather aware. Where this gets a little hairy is that this is going to hit probably sometime around the evening commute, meaning there are going to be a lot of people who are, for one reason or another, stuck in their cars. If you can, I would try to leave work right now. First, it's just a good idea to knock off a little bit early. Why stay when you don't have to? If you are running an office or something like that, might not be the worst thing in the world. If you've got people who are going to be behind a desk or something like that at 5 p.m., at 6 p.m., when this system moves all the way through, and it is going to hit pretty much the entire state. I mean, this is one that's coming from the northwest. It's sort of wrapping around down from Eau Claire, and the front literally goes from the top of this state all the way through Minneapolis, all the way down to just north of Chicago. So when I say everyone is going to get hit in the next couple of hours, I mean everyone is going to get hit. We are, of course, under a tornado watch for 20 counties, and it's pretty much, if you can hear my voice, this is what? More than a little less than a third of the state is currently under a tornado watch. And this is just taking effect now, 3:07 p.m. until 10 p.m. this evening. The National Weather Service in Sullivan just issuing a tornado watch. This includes the following areas: East Central Wisconsin, Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, South Central, Columbia, Dane, Green Lake, Iowa, Lafayette, Marquette, Rock and Sauk, Southeast Wisconsin, Dodge, Jefferson, Kenosha, Milwaukee, Ozaukee, Racine, Walworth, Washington, Waukesha. In case you didn't know, that's all of them. We broadcast in the Madison media market as well as the Milwaukee media market here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. I am going to do my very best. And the reason that we don't do a whole lot of weather updates here on the Dan O'Donnell Show outside of the top of the hour and sometimes bottom of the hour newscasts is that we understand that there are a lot of people who listen to this show or who watch this show on the Dan O'Cam from all across the country. And for them, the information is not especially relevant. In addition, we understand that there are a lot of people who listen to the podcast, who will listen to us hours, days, sometimes a week or so after this broadcast originally airs. On days like this, though, the biggest story is rather obviously the weather. There is a very good chance that if you have an after-school event, say a baseball practice or something like that, it's probably going to be canceled. If it hasn't already, it is going to be canceled, and just hunker down. It's not as though, this is the big one. This is like Hurricane Katrina or anything like that. As I said, it can pop off. It can be a very devastating storm, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you to do things that you already would do, except I would feel remiss if I didn't continue the legacy of my good friend, coworker, podcast host extraordinaire, Mark Belling, and say, turn the lights on your car. Not just the daylights, not just the running lights. Turn on the lights so that people can see you in the storm. It's advice that he's been trying to hammer home for 30 plus years on the radio. No word on whether he says it on his podcast, but I will continue the legacy of telling you to do that. And basically, if you don't need to be somewhere between the hours of about 5 p.m. and I would say about 8 p.m., just stay home, hunker down, listen to us. I promise we have got a jam-packed, entertaining show for you today. Judge Hannah Dugan pleads not guilty a day after attempting to dismiss the charges against her by claiming judicial immunity. We'll get to that in the 5 o'clock hour. A huge update, as I said, on the Versiti Blood Center and its efforts not just to conceal its DEI program, and we now have concrete evidence that they are doing this deliberately because they get federal money and they're trying to get around President Trump's executive order banning any organization that gets federal money from having a DEI department. They're doing the exact same thing that they always did. I now do have the concrete proof in the form of multiple documents from Versiti itself proving that they do, in fact, as multiple sources have suggested, and a number of other sources have come forward to me to allege the same thing after our initial report aired at 5 p.m. yesterday, that there is a strict racial quota hiring system in place at the Versiti Blood Center of Wisconsin, formerly just the Blood Center of Wisconsin, that puts it in direct violation of federal law. We'll get into that update coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Before we get to any of it, however, Spring Green Cash Contest word this hour is WIN. W-I-N, WIN. You got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword WIN to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked at random, you will win $1,000 in cash instantly. If your entry is picked at random, you will be, I believe, the 4th or 5th winner on this program. I can't exactly remember. We had one a couple of days ago. Why not make it the next winner? You want to join us, 414-799-1130, and we will be taking texts all day. If you have pictures or anything of storm damage, anything of note to report, don't call us because we need to keep those lines clear just in case we do need to talk to law enforcement or anything like that if things really do get severe. But please do take advantage of that text line. You can also reach us at 1-800-838-9476. Pass along information if you're seeing just badly damaging winds, hail, that sort of thing. Let us know about it. And you can also shoot me an email, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, where we do have the DanoCam running. You can also watch us on YouTube. Join the conversation with other members of Dan Nation. Just search for Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show on YouTube. The Supreme Court today, United States Supreme Court, heard oral arguments in quite possibly the most consequential legal case of President Trump's second term. It is ostensibly a challenge to birthright citizenship guaranteed by the 14th Amendment. President Trump put a big post out on Truth Social blasting the idea, and he is correct that the authors of that amendment were not thinking of people who are coming into this country illegally to specifically have babies who would become anchors, hence the term anchor baby, and American citizens, keeping them in this country. This was a protection for freed black slaves and the children of the freed black slaves. However, the language of the 14th Amendment is very clear. Anyone who is born in this country is a citizen of this country. Could the justices overturn that? It's possible. But what this case is actually about, and I think what the more consequential ruling that is going to come out of this, and it might come before the actual ruling on the merits of whether or not birthright citizenship should be overturned, is whether or not district court judges have the power to issue nationwide injunctions. A nationwide injunction essentially stops the federal government from doing whatever it was attempting to do while the merits of the case are heard. For instance, the biggest example is President Trump using the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I believe, to deport hundreds of thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. That was enjoined via a temporary injunction. Now, that didn't mean that the district court, that this individual judge ruled on whether or not it's appropriate, lawful, or constitutional for the Trump administration to use the Alien Enemies Act. They simply said that, well, while we are deliberating, while this case makes its way through the federal court system, the Trump administration is enjoined, meaning it can't deport anybody else using this law. How many years do you think this country went without a single district judge issuing a single nationwide injunction? We are going to celebrate our 250th anniversary of a nation next year. For 174 of those 249 years, it was just not a thing that a district judge could issue a nationwide injunction. A district judge could issue an injunction that impacted the parties immediately before the judge, or possibly an injunction if it was a broader issue that impacts the judge's region, right? For example, we have two districts in Wisconsin, Eastern District based in Milwaukee, Western District based in Madison. If an Eastern District judge issues an injunction, and this is, say, a broader issue, it say impacts dairy farming in Wisconsin, it would stand to reason that that order, that injunction, would be valid only within the district that that judge resides in. Not so. According to the Harvard Law Review, there were 127 nationwide injunctions issued starting with the Kennedy administration. Very first in the nation's history was issued during the John F. Kennedy administration. There were 127 between Kennedy and Biden. Guess whose presidency saw roughly half of those 127? Donald Trump's first term. 64. Far more than double Presidents Obama and Biden combined in their 12 years in office. Trump faced 64 of them, 64 in just 4 years. Now, almost half of those injunctions that were issued during the George W. Bush and Obama administrations, there were 18. There were 6 in George W. Bush's administration, 18 in Obama's. 8 out of the 18 were issued by a judge appointed by the president's own party. How many do you think have been, under Trump, issued by judges appointed by the opposing party? 92.2%. Out of the 64 injunctions, and there are, I believe, 17 that have been issued in the first 100 days and change of the second Trump administration, they've been issued by Democrat-appointed judges. Biden had 14 injunctions. Now, think about this. 17 in 100 plus days of Trump, 14 in 4 years of Biden. 100% of them were issued by judges appointed by Republican presidents. This says one very obvious truth, that this has become completely partisan and needs to be reined in. How partisan, you might ask? I said today that the United States Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments on whether or not nationwide injunctions stopping the Trump administration can continue from the federal district courts. One of the loudest voices supporting this idea is liberal Justice Elena Kagan. She asked question after question after question of the Solicitor General John Sauer, who was arguing in front of them today, just saying, okay, well, what we need to have the ability to, as judges, enjoin the government from doing illegal things. So she's a big supporter of the idea that district judges can just unilaterally stop a presidential administration, right? Wrong. On September 14th, 2022, she was at a speaking event when she said the exact opposite.
It just can't be right that one district judge can stop a nationwide policy in its tracks and leave it stopped for the years that it takes to go through a normal process.
You're kidding. It's just not right that a district judge can issue an injunction and have it be in place for the years that it takes the case to go to the Supreme Court. Now, this hypocrisy notwithstanding, Kagan's compatriot, Ketanji Brown Jackson, sort of gave up the game here in her questioning of the Solicitor General, saying that we want what the government is doing to be enjoined. We want to be able to have essentially what amounts to a judicial veto to stop the Trump administration from doing all of this illegal stuff.
I would think we'd want the system to move as quickly as possible to reach the merits of the issue and maybe have this court decide whether or not the government is entitled to do this under the law. Wouldn't having universal injunctions actually facilitate that? It seems to me that when the government is completely enjoined from doing the thing it wants to do, it moves quickly to appeal that, to get it to the Supreme Court, and that's actually what we would want. What I worry about is similar to what Justice Kagan points out, is that if the government is saying no lower court can completely enjoin it, it actually means that the government just keeps on doing the purportedly unlawful thing, and it delays the ability for this court to reach the underlying issue.
Really? Because I was under the impression that the United States Supreme Court could take a direct appeal if there would be some possible issue that would be so serious and that would be so immediate and that would be such an emergency that we would need a nationwide order. If there is an injunction, it can come from the United States Supreme Court, the only court with jurisdiction over the entire United States. The idea, though, that one judge out of, I believe the number is 267 district judges. Actually, producer Jeff, that's the one thing I forgot to look up. How many U.S. district judges are there? It's either 224 or 267. It's somewhere in there. Each one of them then essentially has a veto over anything that a presidential administration does. That is a dramatic overstepping. So, in other words, they're not merely ruling on what the law is. The very famous Supreme Court case of 1802, Marbury versus Madison, actually determined the role of the federal judiciary, and that was to say what the law is, to interpret the Constitution and interpret the laws, because the Constitution is actually rather silent on what it is the Supreme Court and lower federal courts, which actually weren't created by the Constitution, do. They do not set policy. But James Boasberg, the federal judge who has single-handedly derailed half of President Trump's immigration enforcement policy, is in effect casting a veto over what it is that a president and his administration are able to do. If the proper role of the courts is to, as Marbury versus Madison suggested, interpret the law, then what is going on right now and what has been going on over the last 60 years with nationwide injunctions is anything but, because those federal judges aren't interpreting the law. They're not even making the law. They're enforcing it. They are stepping on the due and proper administration of government authority that is left to the executive branch. Jeff, what did you find out? How many district court judges? No, there are not. 677 district court judges. Each one of them, ladies and gentlemen, now has a veto. We will hear from Justice Clarence Thomas on this and much, much more when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns.
When it comes to preparing for a crisis, it doesn't matter if you're a year early, a month early, or a day early, but you can't be a day late. That's why millions of Americans trust My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest preparedness company. Right now, you can get their 4-week emergency food supply, plus an incredible bonus, 4 free 72-hour food kits. That's an extra 12 days worth of food, absolutely free. This kit provides hearty, delicious meals for 4 weeks with 2,000 plus calories per day, 12 essential vitamins and minerals, and a shelf life of up to 25 years. And for a limited time, they're including 12 additional days of food absolutely free, which means right now is the best time to get prepared. Go to My Patriot today to claim your 4-week food kit, plus an extra 12 days of free food. Offer ends soon. Shop MyPatriotSupply.com today. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Hello, commercial truck customers. Michael Lynch here with exciting news. Our expanded state-of-the-art truck center is now complete. With 27 full-service bays and over 15 acres of parking, we're delivering faster service and a better customer experience than ever before. Our sales team, over 150 years of combined truck experience. That means no training your salesperson. We understand your business and speak your language. Our service department runs 2 full shifts, so we're turning wrenches long after others close. Working late so your trucks spend less time in the shop and more time on the road. Need a custom upfit? Done. Vehicle lettering? No problem. Want it delivered to your door? You got it. Completely contactless. We proudly offer Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu trucks, ready for hauling, building, or delivering. Whatever you need, we've got the right truck right now. Come see the difference at Lynch Truck Center in Waterford or visit lynchtruckcenter.com. Give us a try. We won't disappoint you.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Never drive drunk. If you do, don't believe police officers who tell you it's just a ticket and a 6-month suspension. Pay it and put this behind you. You'll likely have to install an ignition interlock device to blow into before starting your car. Protects the public and shames you with your friends and family. Your license will be revoked. You can go to jail for 1 year if caught driving revoked. Even if you swear you did never drive revoked, most people do. With a to and from work permit, 1 snowstorm, long meeting, or traffic jam, and you're driving revoked. An officer runs your plate while driving, and you're in even more serious trouble. You'll participate in alcohol and drug assessments, a driver's safety plan, and alcohol classes. You could even lose your job. Prosecutors will tenaciously prosecute you without empathy, regardless of your clean driving record. Your first DUI conviction never disappears from your record. Just a ticket and 6-month suspension, and a Scarlet A for life. Charged with an OWI, your best chance is to call my team of award-winning former state prosecutors. You are only guilty if you are convicted. GrieveLaw.com.
I'm Ryan Harrison, owner of Ryan Waterproofing. Sunshine warms, rain refreshes, wind braces us. Snow is exhilarating. There is only different kinds of good weather when your basement isn't cracked, bowing, with water seeping or rushing through it. Be forewarned. After Ryan Waterproofing restores your home, seals cracks, repairs walls, installs new drain tile or sump, you'll have to leave the basement to enjoy the weather. Because praying for drought is overrated. Ryan Waterproofing. Call Ryan.com. That's callRION.com. callryan.com.
A little inside baseball that you may or may not know. I won't endorse a business unless I've used the product myself or I've thoroughly researched it and believe in it. Hi, everybody. It's Jay Weber. When the folks at Semperfi Roofing approached me to be their spokesman, I didn't need a new roof, so I went to work doing the research. I've got to tell you, I don't think I've ever seen customer reviews quite like what I found with Semperfi. Hundreds of 5-star reviews, and not just vanilla 5-star ratings or simple clicks. Semperfi's customers are very outspoken about the great customer service and expert installation they received. Look, hiring the right contractor is a big decision. There's a lot of fly-by-nighters out there. If you want a new roof perfectly installed for real peace of mind, I've already done the research for you. I cannot recommend Semperfi Roofing highly enough. Call for your free no-obligation estimate, 262-600-2910, 262-600-2910, or online at semperfiroofing.com. That's semperfiroofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi. Joseph, your business coach and owner of the EWH University for Small Business. Your business struggling with a marketing message that generates leads? Tune in to WISN Sundays at 11 a.m. for tips to grow your business successfully. To learn more, visit EWHUniversity.com.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
You ready? Let's go. All right, we are following breaking news here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Apparently, shots have been fired at the Zeidler Municipal Building, a.k.a. City Hall. Or is it the Municipal Building, or is this... Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I am hearing City Hall. I have been spending much of the commercial break working sources. I am hearing City Hall, but I'm not able to totally confirm that. We are just going to keep an eye on this during the next commercial break. I'll try to get to some of my other sources to see what I can figure out here. But we are hearing some sort of shots fired. Yeah, here we go. The Milwaukee Journal Sentinel just said Milwaukee police officers rush into Zeidler Municipal Building. A large police presence has gathered at Zeidler Municipal Building, a downtown city office building next to City Hall. I'm not sure, again, if the shots were fired at the Zeidler building or at City Hall. And of course, I am not getting internet that is working to update the story. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on, folks. We will attempt to get you more as we get it. Well, there's really not much here. Officers were seen running into the building at 841 North Broadway about 3:15, one holding a shield, others with guns drawn. More than half a dozen squad cars descended on the building within minutes. Two people who said they work in the building said they returned from a break to find the police cars clustered around the Broadway entrance. They were unable to enter. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off to see what I can learn from various law enforcement and other sources also within City Hall and that sort of thing. I just don't feel comfortable going with some of the things that I'm hearing right now. What I can say with a good deal of certainty is that there were shots fired. I just am not sure at the municipal building or at City Hall. I have no idea whether this was an incident outside that spilled in, two people shooting at each other outside that can get reported as shots fired at the building. I don't know at this point. So we're going to just put a pin in that. Also, the tornado watch issued for pretty much our entire listening area in Madison, in Milwaukee. Pretty much if you can hear my voice live on the radio, you are under a tornado watch. It appears that this is going to hit us probably somewhere between 5 and 6 p.m. It's apparently a very fast-moving storm system, and it does encompass pretty much, or at least it will when it fully forms. It is encompassing pretty much the entire length of the state, north to south. So nobody is going to be spared from this. The most intense part is going to be in southeast Wisconsin. So hopefully it moves so quickly that the most intensity is out over Lake Michigan and not out over land. But again, we will keep you posted on this. All right. I hate to do this and I do apologize for it, but I think I'm going to head back into a commercial break because I want to see what I can find out about what's going on at City Hall. Okay. So bear with me. Plus, this is actually probably the time we should be taking a commercial break anyway. We will get back into the Trump nationwide injunction case because, folks, this is about as important a thing in the federal government with respect to the separation of powers, with respect to the Trump agenda, and just with respect to how government works that is going on right now. I mean, the Supreme Court, I believe, needs to step in and put limits, get a return to normalcy, which existed for 174 years before a district court got the idea that it could issue a nationwide temporary injunction. So we're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, hopefully more on the situation in downtown Milwaukee and a lot more after that. Stay tuned.
Conservative thought, not just talk. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show. I'm Mark Belling, and my podcast is here, and I'm tackling the world. You can find me on the iHeart app or wherever you get your podcasts. Type Mark Belling Podcast in the search and hang on for the ride. The Mark Belling Podcast is presented by Uline. For quality shipping and industrial supplies, Uline has everything in stock. Visit uline.com. Also supported by Kunis Auto and RV. The Mark Belling Podcast, now available at iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Patty from Prospect Hill.
Prospect Hill is a destination garden center. People from across southeastern Wisconsin come for our superior variety of Wisconsin-grown, climate-acclimated perennials.
Mike's right. Think about it. If you invest in perennial happiness with flowers, shrubs, and trees, don't you want the best, most beautiful, healthy plants and nursery stock?
Unlike hardware stores or chain garden centers, Prospect Hill grows plants. Grown right here in New Berlin, our perennials are hardier and healthier.
Because we are the grower, there is no middleman driving up the price. Our superior plants cost less at Prospect Hill. Our trees, shrubs, and perennial flowers bring a lifetime of happiness.
Even the soil we use, a proprietary mix of beneficial ingredients and mycorrhizae, help perennials start stronger, larger, and prettier in this climate.
Your yard will be a slice of paradise. Make every normal day abnormally beautiful with Prospect Hill, National Avenue and Racine Avenue in New Berlin. Bloomsite.com.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
I'm Larry Brinkman, president of Dornbrook Construction. Dornbrook Construction has installed concrete in every industrial and commercial setting from the Milwaukee Airport to Campbell's Soup. From big shots in manufacturing and industry, locally as well as the up-and-coming businesses in southeastern Wisconsin. Big business chooses Dornbrook because they know Dornbrook is ACI certified, fully licensed, insured, and bonded. And they know for 25 years, Dornbrook stands behind every square foot of concrete we install. Little businesses choose Dornbrook for all those reasons, and also because they can afford to choose Dornbrook. Dornbrook is industry's choice for commercial concrete because we do perfect business efficiency-minded preparation and installation on every job. We know you aren't closing your business to have concrete work done. 25 years of experience ensures your loading dock or dumpster pad or machine base or huge flat concrete job isn't our first go-around. Standing behind the concrete Wisconsin businesses and residents stand on, Dornbrook Construction, dornbrookconstruction.com, 414-333-0642.
Neglecting concrete or asphalt problems is like neglecting a cavity. It isn't going to fix itself, and the longer you leave it, the worse it is going to get. And the more it's going to cost to fix.
Mud Tech's here to save the day. 262-337-0934.
Eliminate unsightly, even dangerous concrete and asphalt problems while increasing your business's curb appeal. Safer, user-friendly concrete and asphalt costs less than you think. Mud Tech!
262-337-0934.
Better curb appeal brings more tenants, more customers, and happier neighbors.
Mud Tech! 262-337-0934.
Seal Coat makes old gray asphalt new again. Cracks and plow bending potholes disappear. Trip hazards are quickly and inexpensively raised or replaced back to grade with Mud Tech. Having Wisconsin's premier pavement technicians repair the damage from washed out concrete and asphalt will double the life of your pavement.
Mud Tech! 262-337-0934.
Mud Tech resolves every concrete or asphalt problem, leaving your pavement smooth, your life worry-free, and enough money in your bank to take the kind of trip you want to take. MudTechWorks.com.
Restoring your home or business to its natural beauty is our only business. We are Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner for over 75 years.
Edelman Carpet, Furniture, and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
I'm Victor Harding, a true trial attorney at Warshevsky Law. You've heard our advertising for years. While it's been effective introducing Warshevsky to injured people in need of maximum judgments and settlements, most of our clients come from personal referral. Referrals from former clients grateful for the settlement or trial judgment Warshevsky won on their behalf. Thus, they're recommending us to friends and family. Referrals from people in the community, including other lawyers and judges who want to make sure their friends and family are taken care of. Still not sure? Ask around. Warshevsky is referred by Wisconsin law enforcement officers who've seen Warshevsky attorneys in action, desperate to make sure friends and family receive just compensation. Insurance adjusters, often our adversaries, refer their family members hurt in accidents. They know the work we do. They all refer Warshevsky because big case or small, we can help. If someone you love is injured, please let them know, because at the end of their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Get ready as iHeartRadio teams up with the ultimate countdown king.
It's Rick Dees, and here's this week's #1 hit.
iHeartRadio and the Rick Dees Weekly Top 40 with 2 exclusive channels.
Catch this week's biggest hits as we count down to #1.
Listen to this week's biggest songs with Rick Dees and the Weekly Top 40.
Then you can hear all of my legendary countdowns from way back, all commercial free.
It's the soundtrack of your life.
Search me, Rick Dees, on your free iHeartRadio app and listen now.
All right, the best information that I have, and I have still got word out to a whole lot of sources about the incident downtown, is that this was indeed at the Zeidler Municipal Building. Hold on, I've got to get back to... okay. It might have been... This sounds like a fired employee who fired 3 to 4 shots in a stairwell. And that's the best information I've got. I just, you know what? I'm going to continue to just sort of, all I'm going to say as of right now, until I can get more information confirmed, is that there is a shooting incident. I do not know if it is still considered an active shooting incident, but it is an incident at either the municipal building or City Hall itself. They're right next to each other, and this is considered the similar, same complex. It's sort of like how at the White House, the Eisenhower Executive Building is considered part of the White House, although it's not the same structure. I believe it's connected by an underground tunnel. But beyond that, we just don't have a whole lot of information other than there is a massive police presence, and the response is to shots fired, that there was at one point what appears to be an active shooter situation involving someone who was recently fired. At least this is what scanner reports are indicating right now, and police logs and things. Folks, you have to understand that a lot of times when these things are just breaking, information is coming very, very quickly. I am doing my best in real time to try to bring you accurate information and not panic anyone and not, cause an unnecessary. If you are downtown, avoid the entire area. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Right around City Hall, there is a huge police presence. We've got a storm coming. Don't be a looky-loo. We know that emergency services personnel are going to be taxed to the extreme all across this state, and there's never a good time for an incident like this. I am not hearing any reports as of right now about any injuries. Okay, now Yeah, fourth floor of the Zeidler Municipal Building. That this was. Yeah, this does appear to be an incident in which somebody was disciplined or fired or something and came back with a gun. In fact, boy, oh boy. Yeah. All right. I do have an ID on the potential suspect as of right now. Rather obviously, I'm not going to share that, but I'm going to try to figure out, piece together some of these details to try to fill in the gaps in the reporting. Fox 6 apparently has that it is on the fourth floor of the Zeidler Municipal Building. That was what initially I had heard, and then another source said, no, this was at City Hall proper. That didn't quite jibe with what I was hearing. City Hall has been placed on lockdown as this situation unfolds. But we can now report that it is the fourth floor of the Zeidler Building, possibly in a staircase. Somebody who may have been recently fired, who just opened fire. And this is... Yeah, according to police call logs, what is going on scanner band, radio reports, and that sort of thing. So, with all of that as a backdrop, I was actually contemplating, ladies and gentlemen, not even preparing a show, just knowing that we were going to have, and I am convinced, folks, do you feel the energy in the air before a storm? It's one of my favorite things about summer. Just that electricity, you can feel it. It makes you feel alive. As a storm is moving in, the wind picks up. I am absolutely convinced that people just like, and I have no scientific evidence for this, I am convinced, just like with full moons, human beings get screwier and wilier when the storm is about to hit. I don't know what it is. I have no scientific basis for this observation, but it is just something that I have observed. Law enforcement officers have been telling me this for years, that on full moons, they're like, I don't believe in werewolves, but people are just more nuts. And my mom, when I was a little kid, used to take us to the zoo. She would specifically time it so we would go to the zoo on a full moon. And this was actually true. We noticed it every time. The animals were always way more active at full moons. I can't explain it. I don't know why. I don't know if this is actually a thing or it was just coincidence, but it is. So, all right. We are going to, get back to the show, please. This actually is the show, ladies and gentlemen. When there is a big breaking story, this is what we do. We do news. We do politics. Heck, we do sports. You are going to hear, I am working on a couple of big exclusive sports stories that'll probably be broken in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. You get all of it. And yes, please do. If you have any information about what is going on, 414-799-1130, shoot us a text, please. We can't get to those phone calls. I need to be using these commercial breaks to try to work sources and figure out what's going on. I will get back to what I believe to be the biggest story of this week, and that is the Supreme Court taking up the 14th Amendment birthright citizenship case, but really appearing poised to rule on the tyranny of the district judiciary, the district judges that have just stopped parts of the Trump agenda. Remember, I said earlier this week, Trump is on a generational run, ladies and gentlemen. He really is, with foreign policy, with trade agreements, with all of that. On domestic policy, district judges, all appointed by Democrats, are doing their level best to stop it in its tracks. All right, we're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, hopefully more details on what's going on at the Zeidler Municipal Building in downtown Milwaukee here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
from the Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha Total Traffic Center.
Southbound 4194 at Ryan Road, got a stall block in the left lane, jammed back to Putes. You do have a tow truck on the scene there. Westbound on 94, heavy from the Marquette to Mitchell Boulevard, eastbound 70th to the stadium. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Terminix Batzner. Mosquitoes aren't just a nuisance. They can transmit dangerous diseases, too. That's why Batzner Pest Control is proud to offer mosquito extermination services to keep your family and property safe year-round. To schedule your $69 initial mosquito control service, visit Batzner.com today.
My name is Debbie, and I work at Layton Terrace. I love working here. Being a helper is awesome. I can make a difference. This job and living independent boost my emotions. I love my life.
Live life to the fullest with Thinkability Wisconsin, a resource hub that supports people with disabilities throughout their lives. Connect with a real-time navigator at thinkabilitywi.org.
Transform your outdoor space with By the Yard's beautiful and maintenance-free outdoor patio furniture. Enjoy a 35-year warranty on hundreds of style and color combinations. Made in the USA and built to last. Discover our new wood grain colors and collections to add timeless elegance that lasts and lasts. Shop now and make the most of your patio time this year. Visit our gorgeous showroom in Oconomowoc or shop bytheyard.net. That's bytheyard.net. With By the Yard, life is better outdoors.
I don't have time for a home project this year. I don't want to deal with the home improvement dragging on and on. It doesn't have to. Hi, Colleen with Tri-County Contracting. If a new roof is needed this year, we can make the entire project move quickly and be worry-free. No responsibility will be on your shoulders. We'll take care of everything. Worry-free roofing is an instant roof quote button right on our website, tricountycontractingwi.com. Name, address, and email, and you will have your price. Worry-free roofing is a fast and easy estimate process. Worry-free roofing is out with that old, tired, leaking roof and in with a new, beautiful, dimensional shingle roof. Worry-free roofing is a quick and annoyance-free roof install. No material or dumpster sitting for days or weeks. Most homes are completed in just one day. Worry-free roofing is a lifetime product warranty and a lifetime workmanship warranty. It's also getting free enrollment in the Every Year Inspection Program, where you get a free roof inspection and maintenance every year for 10 years. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Ellen Becker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
Josh from Infinity here. The roofing and exterior remodeling industry is notorious for painful surprise hidden costs.
MJ here. We built Infinity with integrity, installing roof, siding, windows, and peace of mind.
Infinity's custom app eliminates costly, unpleasant roofing and exterior remodeling upcharges, showing in absolute transparency every detail of your project.
We pay less, you pay less.
Infinity provides multiple budget options, including financing immediately.
Warranted, guaranteed quality, installing peace of mind. InfinityRoofing.com.
All right, team, listen up. Merle the Squirrel's here to tell you why Capital's duct cleaning is a game changer.
What did he say?
He said, if you haven't cleaned your ducts in 5 years, you're breathing in all kinds of junk. And unlike those companies who use glorified shop vacs, we use high-powered trucks to clean your ducts the right way.
Yeah, makes sense. Cleaner ducts, cleaner air, healthier home.
Exactly.
Schedule your duct cleaning today and save $100. That's right, save $200.
Call CapitalTears.com.
Homeowners across Wisconsin trust WeatherPro Exteriors for the best in roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Voted Milwaukee's 2024 top choice. We are proud to deliver the highest quality and service. Right now, get $1,000 off a full roof replacement, plus a $200 Quick Trip gift card. Your home is your biggest investment. Make sure it's protected with top quality roofing, siding, windows, and doors built to last. Visit WeatherProExteriors.com today.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Smart speakers put WISN's programs as close as the sound of your voice. Tell Alexa, Google Home, or Siri on HomePod to play 1130 WISN on iHeartRadio.
and listen to Milwaukee's best talk shows.
When you need to know what it all means, that's when you need us. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN.
All right, I can now report, citing multiple law enforcement sources, that there was a shooting incident at the Zeidler Municipal Building next door to City Hall at about 3:15 this afternoon. Both City Hall and the Zeidler Building were locked down following reports of shots fired on the fourth floor or possibly in a stairwell at the fourth floor of the Zeidler Building. Multiple law enforcement sources say a recently fired employee fired 3 to 4 shots, but they do not believe that anyone was injured. People are now being allowed to leave both the Zeidler Building and City Hall. It is unclear whether the shooter is in custody or what is going on there. That is the latest information that we have right now on the shots fired incident at Milwaukee City Hall. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what we do here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. I believe in being as transparent as humanly possible. So you will see how the sausage is made, so to speak, of breaking news, how I actually work, because sometimes news breaks when I'm on the air and I have to be doing multiple things at once, entertaining and informing you while simultaneously checking my phone, checking various communications apps that I have for updates, things like that. And oftentimes, I am trying to bring you information in real time. This is, of course, not to be considered confirmed until the Milwaukee Police Department does issue a statement. I would imagine Mayor Cavalier Johnson issues a statement on this. And all of this is happening as a massive storm system is bearing down on all of Wisconsin, our entire listening area in both the Madison area and Milwaukee area are under a tornado watch. We do expect a whole lot of severe thunderstorm warnings later today, possibly a few tornado warnings. Already, just 1 hour in, it has been a busy show. We're going to move on. I'm going to try to get back to the Trump Supreme Court issue. We will bring you the daily Trump date, unsung hero of the day, and that weather and breaking news dependent. I do want to get to new information that I have learned about an exclusive story that we broke yesterday, that the Versiti Blood Center appears to be violating federal law by having hiring quotas. I now have access to those specific quotas. And ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this is the exact thing that has been found for 50 years to violate Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. So we have got a jam-packed second hour for you coming up next. And I do hope you'll stick with us because, quite frankly, this is one of those days you need to have live local radio to keep you updated on what is going on. Dan O'Donnell Show coming right back.
Listen to Benjamin Yount, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee. And make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. President Trump's order to end birthright citizenship was the focus of the Supreme Court today. The case before the High Court wasn't directly about the constitutionality of the order, but the scope with which lower courts can issue nationwide injunctions. Denver International Airport lost all air traffic control communications for 90 seconds on Monday. The FAA is investigating the outage. And investigators don't know if 2 overnight pharmacy break-ins, one in Milwaukee, the other in Wauwatosa, are connected. The first happened at the Swan Surview Pharmacy on North Avenue in Tosa around 12:15 this morning. The other about an hour later at Infinity Pharmacy near 60th in Cleveland. Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard. Game 1 of the Central Division Finals is tonight between the Admirals and Stars. It's a game you can listen to on Fox Sports 920. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Thunderstorms are possible this afternoon between 4 and 8 p.m. and may be severe with large hail, strong wind, and tornadoes. Quiet overnight, then a few more thunderstorms are possible Friday afternoon before a sunny yet cooler weekend. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Terminix Batzner. Mosquitoes aren't just a nuisance. They can transmit dangerous diseases too. That's why Batzner Pest Control is proud to offer mosquito extermination services to keep your family and property safe year-round. To schedule your $69 initial mosquito control service, visit Batzner.com today.
When it comes to preparing for a crisis, it doesn't matter if you're a year early, a month early, or a day early, but you can't be a day late. That's why millions of Americans trust My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest preparedness company. Right now, you can get their 4-week emergency food supply, plus an incredible bonus, 4 free 72-hour food kits. That's an extra 12 days worth of food, absolutely free. This kit provides hearty, delicious meals for 4 weeks with 2,000 plus calories per day, 12 essential vitamins and minerals, and a shelf life of up to 25 years. And for a limited time, they're including 12 additional days of food absolutely free. Which means right now is the best time to get prepared. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com today to claim your 4-week food kit, plus an extra 12 days of free food. Offer ends soon. Shop MyPatriotSupply.com today. MyPatriotSupply.com.
For safe, purified water right from your faucet, the solution is crystal clear.
Any project, big or small, when it comes to water, one call does it all. S&K. Pump and plumbing.
An auction to sell your house? And it includes a 2.99% full service MLS listing? Come on. Put simply, the absolute best way to sell your home is a Redefined Realty MLS listing enhanced by the EasyHomeBidder.com auction bidding platform. You get max profits and minimal contingencies. Buyers and sellers both love winning at auction. Traditional real estate agents put houses on MLS, then talk sellers into accepting offers. It's always been done that way. While buyers can still make a traditional offer, auctions powered by EasyHomeBidder.com allow every interested party to compete for your home through MLS and at auction on your terms. Sellers never lose a penny again. Dorothy's Ruby Slippers would not have sold for $28 million without an auction. Similarly, the maximum price of your home will only be achieved at auction. Traditional real estate agents sell ordinary MLS services. Redefine's Mentors of Winning enhance the home selling process combining auction and MLS. RedefinedRealty.com. Buyers win, sellers win. Real estate's future is now. Real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Bob built a brand over the same 20 years INET has. I bought multiple properties over those years. Bob gets real estate like I never will.
In real estate, every brokerage does the same thing. MLS. Adding auction bidding to MLS, I knew if INET branded it, told our story, home sellers would understand and accept this real estate revolutionizing platform.
You can be the best in your industry like Redefined Realty is. Even revolutionize your industry like Redefined Realty has with auction. Yet, it's your story that sells.
You can't tell your story as well as INET Creative Genius will tell your story.
Real estate for winners is exactly what Redefined Realty and auction has always been.
Steven knocked our brand and marketing out of the park.
Selling a home? If you don't use Redefine's MLS and auction platform, you'll leave closing with less money than you would have. Tragic and that simple.
Websites, branding, design, video, and radio. INET is improving marketing for winners.
INETJustWork.com.
CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
Real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Your home cleaning friend. It's Edelman again. Edelman.
Fast and accurate, fair and balanced. Milwaukee's home for Fox News Radio. News Talk 1130 WISN.
Marketing in modern business means finding and serving your customers 24/7 wherever they are. WISN broadcasts are a powerful platform, but there's so much more. WISN's online digital tools are completely customizable, so you can reach your ideal customer through the iHeart app or by using software that actually finds your customers at a specific location or event. These tools are precise, efficient, measurable marketing weapons that you need to use. Combine the power and clout of WISN's broadcast and digital platforms right now. Go to newstalk1130.com, keyword digital.
Welcome back. We continue to follow two big stories. First, shots fired at the Zeidler Municipal Building about an hour ago. 3 to 4 shots. Law enforcement sources tell me no one appears to be injured, either a recently fired employee or someone who is applying for a job and did not get it. It was something having to do with some form of employment. Fired a couple of shots. Hopefully, it does seem like nobody was hit. Not hearing anything about a press conference thus far. People are being allowed to leave now after there was a shelter-in-place order given for both the Zeidler building, which is right next to City Hall, and City Hall itself. So it does appear that this situation is now under control. What is not is the massive storm system currently bearing down on Wisconsin from the northwest. Based on the latest weather radar that I am seeing, we're probably going to get hit and hit hard sometime between 5 and about 6:15 p.m. If you are planning on leaving work, then, as I originally was, but probably am going to stay after. If we do need local coverage on WISN radio, I don't know if I have the ability to take over WIBA radio as well, or if they're just going to go right to the Sean Hannity show, but for sure, with WISN radio, it does appear if things get bad that producer Jeff and I will be anchoring live coverage. I don't know if Jeff knew that until I said it just now, but we will anchor weather coverage if events warrant. If things are as bad as the initial projections were, we will stay on the air and get this covered for you. Now, I was supposed to speak at a Pints and Politics event in Johnson Creek tonight at Highway Harry's. As far as I know, that event is still on. I guess I am going to be driving straight into the gates of hell in order to speak with you, dear listeners. So if you feel like getting soaked on your way out to see me, I am scheduled to speak at 7:30. This, of course, could be dependent on what the weather is like. I might be there a little bit late, so we shall see. 4 o'clock word in the Spring Green Cash Contest is happy, HAPPY. Happy. You've got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword happy to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked at random, you, like several listeners before you, will take home $1,000 in our Spring Green Cash Contest. Coming up later this hour, the daily Trump date as the president concludes his Middle East trip. Big news about the nation's economy. All that and more. Yesterday, we reported exclusively that the Versiti Blood Center of Wisconsin appears to be violating federal law with racial hiring quotas, in addition to a deliberate attempt to hide its DEI program from President Trump and his administration. Trump, with one of his very first acts in office in his second term, issued an executive order barring DEI from the federal government and critically from any organizations that receive federal money. Oh, they can still have DEI programs. They just won't get federal money. Now, the Versiti Blood Center of Wisconsin, formerly known as the Blood Center of Wisconsin, takes a lot of federal money for research and just general support. So it's no surprise that in the executive summary of a March presentation to top stakeholders, which I have now been able to obtain, they make it clear that they are simply changing their DEI program to culture of inclusion. And they actually say, quote, communications, culture of inclusion, legal, marketing, HR, reviewing, DEI language on website, intranet training, programs, etc. To date, website has been scrubbed for any DEI language and is currently under rebranding. Intranet scrubbed and DEI dropdowns have been changed to culture of inclusion. ERG site will include new ERG name and remove any DEI language. Legal review underway from outside counsel on all culture of inclusion programs. Now, what is ERG? That I believe replies or refers, to employee resource groups. A simple thing there. Now, that would be bad enough because what this is proof. This slide, which was apparently presented to Versiti employees a month ago, proves that there is an ongoing effort to hide a DEI program that is still there from federal oversight. This is yet again an organization in Wisconsin which thinks that it apparently is above the law. It disagrees with what it is that Trump has done, but it still wants Trump's money, which is, let me remind you, actually my money, your money, all of our money. It's taxpayer money. But Versiti believes that it should have it and doesn't need to play by the rules because it simply doesn't agree with the rules. It believes that DEI is an important part of the Versiti Blood Center's mission. So important, in fact, that I have now obtained the racial hiring quotas that the Versiti Blood Center has in place. Key takeaways from this is, according to the slide that I'm looking at right now, is the net change in headcount year to date in 2025. How much has the actual headcount changed from the current reporting period compared to the end of the previous year? And what they're counting is not employees per se, but American Indian or Alaskan Native employees, 12 of them. That's apparently in the green. There was one new hire year to date, and this goes through the end of March. There were no firings of any American Indian or Alaskan Natives, so there was a net change, and this was a green net change of 0.74%. So that got to the green. Now, this might not be presented as we have to hire one new American Indian or Alaskan Native, an Inuit tribes person. But the green and red coloring indicates goals. And that is enough for federal law to have a big problem with this. This is a violation of the Civil Rights Act. There are 125 of the 2,519 Versiti employees, and they break this down by state. There are multiple states, about 1,000 employees here in Wisconsin, also servicing Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. I believe those are the states that Versiti services. 125 Asian employees. So the proportion of new hires was 5.88%. That's green. That's good. That's good. All right. We had 8 new Asians hired at Versiti, so that's good. Unfortunately, 5 Asian people were terminated. That's bad. That's red. 5.05% of all of the terminations. And it's not clear from this specific slide, whether this is termination as in got fired, left voluntarily, that sort of thing. Black or African American, 430 current employees, 17.07%. 30 new hires just this year at Versiti. Good job. That is a big old green, 22.06%. Unfortunately, 35 Black employees were let go or quit. 35%. That's real red. That is very red. Bad job, Versiti Blood Center. Hispanic or Latino, 20 employees hired, 14.7%. That earns a green. 10 employees fired, 10.10%. That's apparently neutral. It's neither red nor green. Native American or Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, just 3 total employees, no hires, no fires in 2025. So that's probably good. 2 or more races, 59 total employees, 6 have been hired. That gets a green. 4.4% of all of the 70 new hires so far this year have multiple races, which is good. Unfortunately, 3 have been terminated. 3.03% of the 43 terminations so far this year. That's bad. That got a red. White. There is no green. There is no red. So I am assuming, and this also would go into if there was a legal challenge to this, as I think there should be, this would go into it because there isn't a quota for how many white people. White is sort of seen as the baseline, that we're not diverse enough. And incidentally, there are 1,569 white employees at Versiti, 62.29%. 70 white people were hired, 51.47% of all people hired so far this year. 43 were let go, 43% of the firings. Neither red nor green. The employee retention goals, as marked with a red or green, indicate that, and I believe this would be my very strong suggestion, would be that the Versiti Blood Center's legal department knows that they can't be sharing. Okay, we need to get to 15 Native Hawaiians that we're hiring, and we can't fire. And this is the thing that is very critical. If you are hiring to get to a green, and what the green coloring indicates is that this is clearly a goal for the Versiti Blood Center. There are 1,000 people in Wisconsin here. By the way, Wisconsin is not doing so hot. Only they have hired 5 Black or African American employees this year. That gets a green, 16.13%. Hispanic or Latino, 9.68%. There's 3 of them that were hired, and 4 Hispanic or Latino, 11.4%, were fired. So that's red. The number of Black people who were fired at 31% of all firings, that's also a red. Asian firings, 11.43%, that's a red. Now, here's something that's interesting. 67.4%, this actually gets a green. The 67.74% of white employees that were hired, that gets a green. Now, I have reached out to the Versiti Blood Center and said, okay, are these racial quotas? Like, what is your goal? What percentage of white people do you want? So we're hiring 67%. I believe the percentage of America that is white is somewhere in the neighborhood of 72%. So is getting below that percentage, is that the goal? is that to have minorities overrepresented for their racial demographics. For example, the black population in this country is somewhere in the neighborhood of 13%. I believe Hispanic population is somewhere in the neighborhood of 15%. And Native Hawaiian, Native Alaskan, Native American, there's scattering Asian represents 4 or 5%, something like that. Is the goal to get above the proportional demographics, the percentage of each race as a percentage of American citizens? If so, that is a big, big problem. And I guess I will again say that as illegal as I think these racial quotas are for both hiring and retention, please do not let this be a barrier to you donating blood, because obviously the need for blood donations is so critical that, especially, we're talking about the shooting incidents at the Zeidler Municipal Building. We're talking about the potential for destructive storms. These are the times when a blood bank like the Versiti Blood Center is absolutely needed. It is a necessary thing. But just like we were talking about the attempts to duck the DEI scrubbing requirement, the elimination of DEI requirements for the medical college, which is another necessary institution. We obviously need a college. We need a medical school to train future doctors. Doctors are a necessary part of a society. That does not exempt them from the need to follow the rule of law. And this is sort of what we're seeing. It's part and parcel of what I believe to be something that is endemic and frankly a little dangerous in liberal thought. And that's the belief that you just don't need to follow the rules. You just don't need to obey the law, abide by the law when you don't like the person who is enforcing the law. Do I get to do whatever I don't particularly care for Tony Evers. I spend a good deal of time making fun of him and critiquing him on policy. Does that allow me to not follow the laws of the state? I think the Attorney General, Josh Kaul, is beyond corrupt. We broke this story earlier this year. He actually took a grant from climate thing funded by Mayor Michael Bloomberg, the head of the Bloomberg, and he's hiring people, he's hiring attorneys to specifically file litigation that Bloomberg wants, completely against the law. It's contra to every oath he's ever taken. It's corrupt behavior. It's a bribe. He's the top law enforcement official in the state of Wisconsin. Do I feel empowered to just commit crimes, to what, spite him, to stand up to the evil Tony Evers and Josh Kaul? But liberals have a tendency to think like that. Well, I don't agree with the idea that we need to we need to get rid of our DEI program in order to get federal funding. Oh, yeah, we want federal funding, but we're still going to do everything we did because Trump doesn't have any actual authority over it. Yeah, he does. He actually does have the authority vested in him as the head of the executive branch of the United States government to be able to decide whether or not conditions for federal funding are met, regardless of what some federal district judge says. And that's another part of this attitude, these district judges who believe that they can just issue a nationwide injunction. Because why? They think personally what Trump is doing is illegal. So there are 677 people who are not elected, who are not even part of the executive branch, 677 district court judges who all get a veto, who, if just one of them raises their hand and says, I disagree with what Trump did, then what Trump wants to do doesn't happen? How can any government function like that? We have one court that is authorized by the separation of powers in this country to act as the nationwide interpreter of the Constitution. That's the United States Supreme Court. If a party believes that their rights are in such jeopardy that they need a nationwide injunction, they can file an emergency petition with the United States Supreme Court. If rights are truly in jeopardy, the United States Supreme Court can issue a temporary injunction. It has that power. The idea that just some lowly judge, Lynn Edelman, we spent a lot of time on yesterday's show making fun of, right? For how old and just out of it and far left radical he is. Imagine Lynn Edelman would essentially be setting immigration policy for this. Imagine if Lynn Edelman doesn't just throw out the case of the judge, Hannah Dugan, who also thinks herself to be above the law. Imagine he doesn't just do that, but issues a nationwide injunction from barring any judge anywhere from ever being arrested for anything. That he grants her claim of judicial immunity and says, well, you know what? It doesn't even need to have to be in the commission of an official judicial act. A judge can shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose any support for it. Is that what this country is about? We have one court that is seen as the definitive word on the interpretation of the Constitution, the United States Supreme Court. Instead, we now have 677 different United States Supreme Courts, all seeming to have the ability to not totally stop the Trump administration. But while the case is pending, and all you need to do is get a case pending in the federal court system, get an injunction, and that case can take years to resolve. By that time, hey, Trump might be out of office. He's only got 4 years. All we need to do is wait him out. This is a specific strategy. You know how I know that? Chuck Schumer said it was.
Our democracy is at risk because Donald Trump shows that he wishes to violate the laws in many, many different ways. The good news here is we did put 235 judges, progressive judges, judges not under the control of Trump last year on the bench, and they are ruling against Trump time after time after time. And we hope that the appellate courts, when it gets up there in the Supreme Court, will uphold those rulings. They restored the money to NIH. They required that 8,000 federal employees have to come back. We're in over 100 lawsuits against them, and we are having a good deal of success. It's only at the lower court level right now.
That was March 19th. He said, we put district court judges in who specifically want to, and we know they're going to, stop Trump's agenda. We think he's violating the law. So we put judges in the last year of Biden's presidency, when the old man was too senile to realize what was going on, who are specifically authorized to do it. Now, before a judge can act, though, you would need to have, in order for this to be a full-blown conspiracy to abuse the federal court system, you would need to have elected Democrats secretly conspiring with state attorneys general on like a weekly phone call or something to plot a lawfare strategy. Oh, hey, wait, look at this. 1 month ago today, April 15th, California Congresswoman Laura Friedman said there is just such a group.
Every single week, we have a litigation working group where a large group of us, and I'm talking there's maybe 75 members of the House, sit down every single week with the AGs to talk about legal strategy. This is all going on every single week behind the scenes. It is nonstop talk, nonstop introduction of bills and legislation, nonstop being on social media as much as we can without being throttled and without the, crazy analytics, and doing all these things.
Oh, really? Nonstop, you say? Just nonstop filing litigation in front of sympathetic judges who will then just issue temporary injunctions to stop Trump's agenda, regardless of the ultimate constitutionality of what it is he's doing. It's remarkable, the admission here. It's remarkable that they're so open about this. And the fact that there wasn't a single, not one temporary injunction issued nationwide from a district court in the first 174 years of this country. Clarence Thomas, I think he's past Scalia in my mind, as my favorite all-time Supreme Court justice. The man is tremendous. Here he is, sort of hammering home that point along with the Solicitor General of the United States.
So we survived until the 1960s without universal injunctions.
That's exactly correct. And in fact, those were very limited, very rare, even in the 1960s. It really exploded in 2007 in our cert petition in Summers against Earth Island Institute. We pointed out that the Ninth Circuit had started doing this in a whole bunch of cases involving environmental claims.
Well, you don't say. 2007, when George W. Bush was president. No way. I am so surprised. And then there are 127 nationwide injunctions from John F. Kennedy, the first one, to Joe Biden. 64 of them were against Trump. 92% of those injunctions by Democrat judges. Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We're starting to get reports of quarter-sized hail, heavy rain west of Madison. If you're listening to us there, take cover.
From the place you want to go, Lynch McGuanago Traffic Center.
It is This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Dan O'Donnell here, as I am every week, but this week pinch hitting for Dave Spano. It is Annex's chief economist, Brian Jacobson. And Brian, this week there is tons of reason for optimism, not just a 90-day pause on tariffs with China, but the framework of a deal that would get tariff rates on Chinese goods not down to 60%, but all the way down to 30%.
It could actually go lower than that if China shows a willingness and ability to deal with that fentanyl issue. The reason why they were able to negotiate down temporarily to this 30% tariff rate is we have 20% tariffs, which were applied back in February for fentanyl trafficking, and then 10% kind of baseline universal tariffs. So this actually could work out very well when it comes to trade between the U.S. and China. President Trump also said that China has committed to reducing or eliminating a bunch of what are called these non-tariff trade barriers. And so those would be things like, state subsidies, restrictions on imports, all sorts of other issues. And so this could really set the tone for a positive trade relationship going forward, as opposed to something so antagonistic that we've become accustomed to.
That's right. This doesn't just mark a significant agreement. It also marks a significant turning of the tide in this relationship between these two partners that are so symbiotic in their need for each other with respect to trade. The United States depends on China for manufacturing many of its products. Some might say almost all of its products, and China needs the American market. So we shall see where things go from here. But as we do, you need to have some certainty, and you need to know what's in your portfolio and why you own it. Head to annexwealth.com for a free review. For Brian Jacobson, I'm Dan O'Donnell. This has been This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Northbound 4145 heavy Watertown plank up to Hampton, jammed southbound through the roadwork Appleton to Burleigh. 43 northbound is heavy to Keefe, and southbound between Capitol and the Marquette. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Terminix Batzner. Mosquitoes aren't just a nuisance. They can transmit dangerous diseases too. That's why Batzner Pest Control is proud to offer mosquito extermination services to keep your family and property safe year-round. To schedule your $69 initial mosquito control service, visit Batzner.com today.
I'm Reset Restore MD's Dr. Jennifer Grieve. For people that are suffering from depression, anxiety, and PTSD who are desperate for relief, intravenous ketamine can provide the relief of a lifetime that other therapies can't. Listen to R&R MD patient feedback.
Depression plagued me for years. Antidepressants, supplements, yoga, meditating, even energy drinks, nothing worked. After the first R&R MD ketamine treatment, the fog that gripped my brain for years was gone. It broke my caffeine addiction. I had energy, zero anxiety, zero fatigue, zero depression day one.
The staff at the clinic is amazing. The results phenomenal. Anyone suffering depression or anxiety, this is the only therapy that ever worked.
IV ketamine infusions at Brookfield or Mequon's Reset Restore MD induce neuroplasticity, triggering rapid growth of therapeutic neurological connections. R&R MD's superior intravenous ketamine infusions take about an hour, but the relief can continue for weeks, months, even a lifetime. R&R for relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Telling an arresting officer about your child's good grades, scouting achievement, or your child being influenced by friends is helping to convict your child. You're not going to talk the police officer out of a DUI, drug charge, or any charge. You will be helping them prosecute and convict your child. There are likely many opportunities to challenge and beat your child's charges, but none of them involve you explaining anything to the police. Call my award-winning team of former state prosecutors. You are only guilty if you are convicted. GrieveLaw.com. That's GrieveLaw.com.
Homeowners across Wisconsin trust WeatherPro Exteriors for the best in roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Voted Milwaukee's 2024 top choice. We are proud to deliver the highest quality and service. Right now, get $1,000 off a full roof replacement, plus a $200 quick trip gift card. Your home is your biggest investment. Make sure it's protected with top quality roofing, siding, windows, and doors built to last. Visit weatherproexteriors.com today.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference. Aspire to the perfect blend of information and enlightenment. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN. Now, back to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
So, apparently, the mayor's spokesman, Jeff Fleming, says that they are not sure whether the shots fired were actually a door slamming. The initial call came in to shots fired, reports of 3 or 4 shots. This is on the call logs. I was looking at a call log from the Milwaukee Police Department. Fleming says, while the initial report was of a shot having been fired, investigators are now looking at the possibility that that may not be the case. I'm sorry to laugh, ladies and gentlemen, but only a bunch of libs working at the Zeidler Municipal Building could confuse the sound of a door slamming with a gunshot. You've heard gunshots before, haven't you, Jeff? Your nickname is Pipe Bomb, so I'm going to assume you have heard gunshots before. Sort of a unique sound. It's like like a pipe bomb going up. Pop, pop, pop is what it sounds. A door slam sounds like a slam. The working theory is still that it was a gunshot. However, it's been one of those days, ladies and gentlemen. No medical response had been requested as of 4:20 p.m., says Deputy Fire Chief Ron Fearnor, but the fire department reserved some units if the call did happen. Workers began streaming out of the building at about 3:45 p.m. It's a door slam. You want me to fool the entire city of Milwaukee government right now? Was that shots fired or was that me just pounding my microphone? All right, here's an even better one after covering this breaking news for an hour. All right, are we ready? All right, let's guess this sound. That is actually not a gunshot, City of Milwaukee employees who called 911. That was me banging my head on my desk in frustration. It's a gunshot. That's what it is. Producer Jeff, weather makes everybody crazy. Now, watch out. Okay, guys, for all employees of the Zeidler Municipal Building, in a couple of hours, you are going to see bright flashes of light coming from the sky. Those are, in fact, not alien death rays, but rather bolts of lightning. I just want to make sure that okay, folks, I shouldn't make fun of this. I can't resist. I apologize. My profuse apologies. It is just way too funny. They mistook the sound of a door slamming. These are the same people, though, who thought that the sound of clapping was just too aggressive and intense. So remember when they were replacing it with the finger snapping to show your approval? My goodness, this is just too funny. So now, Milwaukee municipal employees, in a couple of hours, you are going to hear noise. It is going to either be a sharp crack or it is going to be a low rumble. This is not, in fact, Russia dropping a nuke on Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is thunder. The sound you are hearing is thunder. I told you, you get it all here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, often in the very same show. You get breaking news. You get making fun of the libs. You get exclusive stories like the Versiti Blood Center one, which, folks, is a very big deal. I don't know if I get... You can't discriminate on the basis of race. And anyone who applied for a job at the Versiti Blood Center and perhaps didn't get it may have been the victim of racial discrimination. If they didn't get that little marker to green, if they were just a white employee or a white candidate, but were in competition with a black candidate, and the black candidate got the job, there is a very good chance that you have incredible grounds to sue the Versiti Blood Center. I'm not advocating this, obviously. I am just telling you what a world of bleep they are in. Like we caught them, I would say we caught them red-handed, but we caught them red and green-handed, because green symbolizes that they hit their quota. Red means they've got a way to go. Got to fire some more white people, I guess, to get the percentage of black firings down. If you were terminated from the Versiti Blood Center in the past year, I've got data going back a good number of years. If you were terminated from the Versiti Blood Center and you are a white employee, you now potentially have a very powerful case for wrongful termination. Was I let go simply because they had to let go of somebody to get the percentage of black or Hispanic or Pacific Islander firings down? One way to do that is to just never fire any black or Hispanic or Pacific Islander employees. Another is to fire way more white employees, so the percentage of those you're firing who are an acceptable race goes down. Are we on break 2? All right. Well, good thing that we are probably potentially going to need to go wall to wall in the next hour with storm coverage, so we might as well burn some of these commercial breaks right now, shall we? Dan O'Donnell Show coming right back.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Just over 20 minutes either side of 94 between Moreland and the Marquette interchange. Delays breaking either side of the stadium. Northbound on 43, lousy up to Keefe with ongoing construction, taking 26 minutes to Brown Deer. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Terminix Batzner. Mosquitoes aren't just a nuisance. They can transmit dangerous diseases diseases too. That's why Batzner Pest Control is proud to offer mosquito extermination services to keep your family and property safe year-round. To schedule your $69 initial mosquito control service, visit Batzner.com today.
Spring means that green is busting out everywhere, including your wallet. If you play the nationwide Spring Green Cash Contest on Newstalk 1130 WISN 9 times each weekday, listen for the keyword, enter it at newstalk1130.com, and you might snag the hourly prize of $1,000.
The Spring Green Cash Contest is presented by ARR Recycling. Recycling pays. Bring your copper, brass, lead, steel, or aluminum to their West Dallas or Waukesha locations and get cash. ARR Recycling since 1938.
Tired of digging through cluttered cabinets on your hands and knees? Fed up with straining to reach your pots and pans? Say goodbye to cabinet chaos. Milwaukee Drawers and Glide Outs is here to revolutionize your home organization. Specializing in custom pull-out shelves and drawers for existing cabinets, pantries, and vanities, we'll transform your clutter into beautiful and functional organization. Reclaim your sanity today. Milwaukee Drawers and Glide Outs, because your cabinets should make life easier. Visit MilwaukeeDrawersandGlideouts.com to get started.
Imagine your home totally organized. At Closets by Design, we specialize in providing affordable, custom-built storage solutions with built-ins and beyond. From walk-in closets to new laundry rooms and pantries, our experienced designers work within your budget to design a solution fit perfectly to your needs. Get 40% off plus an additional 15% with 18-month financing. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get started. Let's get organized together.
We didn't write the headline. The Wall Street Journal did. The days of set and forget investing just ended for many Americans. Economic uncertainty and global unrest. It's a wake-up call. Standard financial advice is to avoid making rash decisions during market turmoil. But retirement planning isn't a set it and forget it process anymore. That's where Annex Wealth Management comes in. As fee-only fiduciaries, we craft personalized plans that adapt as needed. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Head to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Hi, I'm Willa Voss. I'm 8 years old. Mom and Dad own Cut and Go Tree Service. Yes, they did name me after a tree. Our family loves this country and the freedom it provides. Every morning, I look forward to starting the school day with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please say it along with me, even if you just say it in your mind. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. American patriots will enjoy a 5% discount for flying the American flag and mentioning this commercial when the Cut and Go remote control, automobile mounted, articulated crane, grapple saw operators are putting your dead trees on the ground or removing large branches that grew over something important. An all-American Tons of Trees movement, cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGOTREES.com.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell from Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
Accident Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
At Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at ACCUNET.com.
Trees on the Move's offering ideas for outdoor living and beautifying with landscape consultation, design, and installation, including retaining walls, paved patios, grading and drainage, and more. Trees on the Move's been offering landscape services for over 48 years and now offers stamped and colored concrete drives, patios, and sidewalks. Beautify your yard this year with Trees on the Move. TreesOnTheMove.com.
From planning to planting, Trees on the Move.
We use powerful truck-mounted carpet cleaning units designed to remove even the toughest dirt and certified cleaning technicians who understand the definition of clean.
Edelman Carpet, Furniture, and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
From the road to the roof, S&K will fix your plumbing problems 24/7.
Made for This Mountain exists to empower listeners to rise above their struggles and face the mountain in front of them. So during Mental Health Awareness Month, focus on your emotional well-being. Tune into the podcast and climb that mountain.
You will never be able to change or grow through the thing that you refuse to identify. The thing that you refuse to say, hey, this is my mountain. This is the struggle.
Listen to Made for This Mountain on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Made for This Mountain.
As one of my listeners put it on X, when slamming doors is outlawed, only outlaws will slam doors. Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson just a second ago on why investigators now believe that the initial call of someone firing 3 to 4 shots was actually a recently fired employee slamming a door multiple times.
From my understanding, there was nobody that was hurt. Nobody actually, pulled a gun. Nobody actually fired any weapons. One of the thoughts is that perhaps somebody slammed a door one or multiple times, and that may have ultimately been what caused the noise that encouraged employees to call the police.
Can you confirm that this had to do with a fired employee potentially?
That is my understanding, yes. That's my understanding.
Is there a situation with a former employee, ex-employee on the fourth floor?
My understanding is that there was somebody that was terminated, but other than that, I got no further details.
Well, that's good. At least we know the difference between doors. You know what? They heard shouting. I shouldn't make fun. They heard shouting undoubtedly. There was some tense situation. They made an honest mistake. An hilarious mistake, but an honest mistake nonetheless. Speaking of mistakes, do you know what might have been the single biggest mistake of Joe Biden's presidency? I'll give you a hint. It happened 1 year ago today, May 15th, 2024. Do you remember this video?
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. Since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Quick update. He did not, in fact, do it twice. One debate was enough on June 27th. That video, which was 13.55 seconds, included 6 jump cuts, meaning the president was so far gone at that point that he couldn't read a 13.55 second script without having to cut several times. As somebody who reads scripts, and actually today was just reading a couple of scripts for videos we produced for the McIver Institute, I hate jump cuts. And we try to mask them by putting graphics up on the screen or B-roll footage or things like that. In a 5 to 6 minute video, I will typically need maybe 1 or 2 cuts. Sometimes if I just don't have it, I'm tripping over my words, I'll just start the whole thing again. Like Bill O'Reilly, I'm screaming at my video. Well, do it live. This thing sucks. 13 seconds? I'd like to think any cogent human being could get through that. But as we are now learning, Biden was anything but a cogent human being. You are listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Classical conservatism, contemporary style.
From the Lynch Truck Center in Waterford Total Traffic Center.
Southbound on 43, taking 26 minutes from Brown Deer to the Marquette. Got a crash on the right shoulder at the Marquette interchange. Northbound is a half hour. Southbound 4145, taking a half hour. Good Hope to the Zoo. Slow Appleton to Burleigh. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Terminix Batzner. Mosquitoes aren't just a nuisance. They can transmit dangerous diseases, too. That's why Batzner Pest Control is proud to offer mosquito extermination services to keep your family and property safe year-round. To schedule your $69 initial mosquito control service, visit Batzner.com today.
For people with disabilities, an opportunity can make all the difference. Get help navigating the transition into adulthood, employment, housing, healthcare, and more with Thinkability Wisconsin, a resource hub that empowers people with disabilities.
So this job makes me feel very confident. My goal is always to grow myself and learn new things.
Live life to the fullest. It all starts when you say yes. Contact a Thinkability Navigator to get help at thinkabilitywi.org.
Kick off your summer right with big seasonal savings at Fleet Farm. Kingsford 16-pound 2-packs of charcoal briquettes are just $17.99. Suffolk's braided fishing line is only $7.99 a spool. And get a free $25 gift card with every $100 you spend on select Columbia apparel and footwear. For more of the hottest summer specials at the best prices guaranteed, stop by your local Fleet Farm or check out our weekly ad at fleetfarm.com.
All about the presets.
That is the best new feature. It's like a car radio right on the app. There's a list of what's trending. There's all the podcasts. I love it.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
I'm Ryan Harrison, owner of Ryan Waterproofing. If it seems rain hangs around your home coming down as insidiously delicate droplets or in buckets, and if neither, rain tends to lurk suspiciously in the atmosphere around your house, you probably have a wet, mildewy, leaky basement with cracked walls. No basement wall or foundation repair is too big or small for Ryan Waterproofing. We won't be the most expensive. The larger the job, the more you'll save with Ryan. We've eliminated bowed walls, cracks, spalling, seepage, and flooding in Coast Guard stations, museums, and countless Wisconsin homes. Ryan's waterproofing experts show up on time and do exactly what we say we're going to do, eliminating your water problems, restoring your home, even ending your negative obsession with rain. Imagine looking out the window for rainbows rather than obsessing about your basement walls and floors next time, every time it rains. Free estimates, affordable financing. Because praying for drought is overrated. Ryan Waterproofing, call Ryan.com. That's call RION.com.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Family Dentistry, Cosmetic Whitening, Ross Dental Straight Smiles, and Full Sedation Dentistry for anxious patients needing substantial restoration. Our mission? Your comfort, health, and confidence.
Smile like you just don't care.
Because you don't. RossDentalWI.com.
I gave it a shot and I came in and had the procedure done. To me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago.
A little inside baseball that you may or may not know. I won't endorse a business unless I've used the product myself or I've thoroughly researched it and believe in it. Hi, everybody. It's Jay Weber. When the folks at Semperfi Roofing approached me to be their spokesman, I didn't need a new roof, so I went to work doing the research. I've got to tell you, I don't think I've ever seen customer reviews quite like what I found with Semperfi. Hundreds of 5-star reviews, and not just vanilla 5-star ratings or simple clicks. Semperfi's customers are very outspoken about the great customer service and expert installation they received. Look, hiring the right contractor is a big decision. There's a lot of fly-by-nighters out there. If you want a new roof perfectly installed for real peace of mind, I've already done the research for you. I cannot recommend Semperfi Roofing highly enough. Call for your free no-obligation estimate, 262-600-2910, 262-600-2910, or online at semperfiroofing.com. That's semperfiroofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi. You love her twice as much today as the day you married her, right?
Welcome to Kessler's.
Smart speakers get a whole lot smarter when they're playing News Talk 1130 WISN. Just ask Alexa or Siri to play WISN Radio and bask in the glow of insight and enlightenment. Conservative thought, not just talk. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
I'm no meteorologist, but I think southeast Wisconsin might get a break from this storm. It does appear from the radar I'm looking at from the Weather Channel that the worst of the storm is going to be popping over Lake Michigan, so that this thing is moving so quickly that it's going to get really bad over Lake Michigan. Here's hoping that is the case. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back after this.
Listen to Clay and Buck weekdays 11 to 2 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee, and make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon, I'm Dave Michaels. We're learning more about what led to a lockdown at both Milwaukee City Hall and the Zeidler Municipal Building in downtown Milwaukee this afternoon. Fox 6's Ashley Sears.
Now, we are told the buildings were put on lockdown today and workers were told to shelter in place. A recording inside City Hall warned people of an active threat in the building and people should lock doors and stay put. Now, the mayor's spokesperson, Jeff Fleming, tells Fox 6 there was some sort of noise inside the Zeidler building. He says it's unclear if it was a gunshot or a door slamming. The suspect is believed to have fled. Who that suspect is unclear to us at this time.
House Republicans continue negotiations on President Trump's big, beautiful bill.
GOP leadership says the plan is still to have a vote next week on the budget resolution, while disagreements are still aplenty among Republicans. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
And WISN's Benjamin Yount show this morning, Wisconsin Congressman Brian Stiles said the bill is still a work in progress.
I'm just of the view that we always need to be looking to be able to go further than where we're at, in large part because the structural deficit and the challenges we face are so big.
Checking the Holiday Automotive and Final Act Sports Scoreboard. Brewers have the day off today from the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center. I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
A tornado watch is in effect until 10 o'clock tonight for all of southeastern Wisconsin. Severe thunderstorms through mid to late evening. Temperatures in the 50s overnight. 84 on Friday with a few more strong late day storms. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks.
You got to get to Built Right today. Dan O'Donnell here for my friends at Built Right Furniture. Built Right's biggest Memorial Day mattress sale is on now. Their one location saves you time and money, and they make it easy to shop and easy to buy. Built Right beats any big box, national or local chain store, employee-free store, online retailer, or warehouse club because they have the guaranteed lowest prices. Over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Choose from the best mattress brands, made in the USA, Heirloom, Therapeutic, Restonic, Schiffman, and Gold Bond. Built Right specializes in hard-to-find, flippable, and heavy-duty mattresses. Plus, Built Right offers free delivery and removal on mattress-only purchases of $799 or more. Voted best place to shop and open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday closed to be with family. Tell them Dan sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield. Buy local.
They said that building an outdoor kitchen bigger than your indoor kitchen would be crazy. But when you consider all the possibilities of a TrueStone Financial home equity loan with an APR as low as 5.74% and for a limited time, no closing costs, well, the sizzling burgers on that built-in grill, they say otherwise. A TrueStone home equity loan is flexible financing for just about everything, even outdoor kitchens. It's true, because we're TrueStone. Get cooking at truestone.org. Terms and conditions apply. Closing cost offer not valid with competing offers or promotions. Equal housing opportunity.
Southbound on 43, taking 26 minutes from Brown Deer to the Marquette. Got a crash on the right shoulder at the Marquette interchange. Northbound is a half hour. Southbound 4145, taking a half hour. Good Hope to the Zoo. Slow Appleton to Burleigh. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
There's good stuff for your garden at Miners Garden Center.
Like what?
Like 20 acres of plants, every tree under the sun, shrubs, evergreens, perennials, annuals, and ground covers, even blooming tropicals for patios.
Is that it?
Nope, they got knowledgeable people too. Miners is filled with nursery experts and dozens of every kind of planting for your yard and garden.
Really? They got all that?
All that and more. It's gardening from the ground up, a family tradition since 49. Miners, 76, just north of Good Hope.
When I decided to remodel my kitchen, it was important to see more than just designs and drawings. Wisconsin Kitchen Mart made it easy, with more fully built kitchen displays than anywhere else. The showroom made all the difference when making important design decisions. Along with their talented team of designers, decorators, and installers, my dream kitchen came to life.
For almost 75 years, our team at Wisconsin Kitchen Mart has created kitchen and bathroom remodels that set us apart from the rest. We understand that your kitchen must be a well-oiled machine, so you enjoy using it. And don't forget, bathrooms too. That's why we offer quality design that incorporates the existing space in your home to enhance the style. Come see our full displays in our 18,000 square foot showroom, and with our wide selection of flooring, Play-Doh custom cabinetry, appliances, and countertops, you can get everything you need in one place. Higher design, higher style, higher Wisconsin Kitchen Mart. Visit wisconsinkitchenmart.com for more information and a free consultation.
Kowal Investment Group, now Creative Planning, is a registered investment advisor. Now for your business report from Creative Planning. For informational purposes only, past performance is not indicative of future results.
Good evening. This is Certified Financial Planner Chauncey Weisensell with your evening business report. The major averages are mixed today as investors weighed Walmart's tariff-clouded earnings and digested the latest economic data. Retail sales increased by 0.1% in April, which is less than the 0.3% expected, and wholesale prices declined by 0.5%. Meanwhile, shares of Dick's Sporting Goods fell over 14% following the announcement that the retailer would buy rival Foot Locker for $2.4 billion, and a deal expected to close in the second half of the year. Shares of Foot Locker soared 85% on the news. At the close, the Dow was up 272 points to 42,322. The S&P was up 24 points, and the Nasdaq was down 34 points. From Creative Planning, I'm Chauncey Weisensell.
The Dan O'Donnell Show, conservative thought, not just talk. Sort of a disjointed program today with the breaking news that wasn't really breaking news at all. I mean, it was. There were reports of shots fired, first at City Hall and then at the Zeidler Municipal Building. What we now know is that it's very likely there were never any shots fired at all, and that municipal employees mistook the sound of a slamming door from an employee who was getting fired for gunshots. It is almost unbelievable. It is hilarious, and it is totally on brand. There are a number of watches and warnings that are now underway in our listening area. The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Waukesha County and southern Washington County from 5:02 p.m. until 5:45 p.m. At 5:02, that thunderstorm was located near North Prairie, 8 miles southwest of Wales. Moving northeast at 50 miles an hour, we are seeing 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts reported and quarter-size hail. Expect some hail damage to vehicles, wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Tornado watch remains in effect until 10 p.m. for all of southeastern Wisconsin. It does seem as though this storm is starting to take shape right along Beaver Dam. You're starting to see the pockets of smaller storm cells join into the larger front. It does seem to me like it's at least possible that we will get the worst of this storm system not actually hitting on land, which is very good, that it's going to fully coalesce and all these little cells are going to kind of combine over Lake Michigan to our east, which is probably the best case scenario. So it does seem as though that the initial radar was not necessarily incorrect, but the behavior of these storm systems is not always totally predictable for the modeling software. This is where I always try to make the point that if we don't know the behavior of an individual cell, a storm system that we can see, how can we possibly know what the temperature is going to be like on this planet 150 years from now based on our carbon output as a society and no other factor? This is what, from the time I was probably 17 years old, maybe it was a little later, I took Paul Joseph's meteorology class for at least a couple of weeks. I had to drop it. It just didn't fit in with my schedule. And frankly, I think I didn't do well on the first couple of quizzes. And I'm like, nope, sorry, Paul. Love you. See you at work later on. I actually was an intern at that point at today's TMJ4. I have great respect for Paul Joseph, great weather forecaster, all of those guys at TMJ. John Milan, Michael Fish, great friend of mine. I started thinking, wait a second. If there are so many variables in what can impact the movement of an individual storm system, and can influence even broader weather patterns over the course of a season or maybe multiple years, how is it that we can say with absolute certainty the long-term impact of any sort of human activity on climate change? Now, I'm not willing to, and I wasn't willing to, even as a very young man, willing to dismiss this hypothesis out of hand. But I'm saying there are a nearly limitless number of variables. Have you ever heard the butterfly effect? A butterfly flaps its wings in China and you get rain instead of sunshine in Times Square. It's the idea that tiny little variables that are impossible to predict have a sort of domino effect and can lead to bigger things. This is why any sort of pronouncement and any good meteorologist, like I'm seeing Tom Walks on Fox 6 right now, he's a great meteorologist. He will tell you, look, this is what we're seeing right now. This is what our radar is indicating. This is what our models are able to project, but all of this is subject to change. What we are seeing on the radar might not necessarily be 100% accurate, that we're getting a radar indicated tornado here, but one of our spotters actually saw the tornado over here. That's why you have spotter indicated tornadoes. That's why you have radar indicated tornadoes. Spotter indicated tornadoes are typically more accurate. But if we accept, and meteorologists say, and they should say, look, we can only give you our best guess. This, in my world, people always want to know, Dan, who do you think is going to win the next election? Well, here's what I think. But there are 10 million variables that could impact this. Coincidentally, one of those, the weather. It was always the general sort of idea that if it was rainy, that was bad news for Democrats because Republicans were always better at just getting out the vote. They had a whole lot more voters who were going to vote no matter what. Now that calculus is changing a little bit. The problem with the climate change hypothesis is that it was so obviously anti-scientific from the very beginning. That anybody, Paul Ehrlich, climate bomb, and all this other stuff, the hysterics who were saying that, oh my goodness, a population bomb was Ehrlich, wasn't it? The people who were saying that eventually we're going to have so many people on this planet that we're not going to be able to feed them. It's called Malthusian thought. That Malthus thought that eventually we'd hit a critical mass. I believe he thought it was like 6 billion people on this planet, and there'd be mass starvation. Well, there isn't. We're 8+ billion, and outside of government corruption in parts of the world like Africa, Central and South America, that literally keep food out of the mouths of the citizenry, people are not starving. We're not starving, at least, because of a lack of an access to food. We're starving, I would argue, because of corrupt government. But in climate science, the only thing that has ever mattered has been this idea that somehow man must self-flagellate for the sins against the climate. It sort of replaced Christianity or Judaism or Islam or any sort of organized faith with this worship of Gaia, Mother Earth. And our sins against Gaia were going to lead to climate catastrophe. About 20 years ago, there was a movie by Roland Emmerich called The Day After Tomorrow. And it was all about how nobody takes the warnings of a scientist played by Dennis Quaid, who should have known better because he's a good conservative. And he's warning about how all of this climate change. And there's a president who's very obviously George W. Bush. They kill off George W. Bush and they make Dick Cheney apologize for being wrong about global warming. And in the last scene, you have Americans trying to illegally sneak into Mexico to avoid the new ice age that the climate sins of the fake Bush administration. Seriously, it is the most hilariously left-wing bonkers movie you will ever watch. At least I thought so when I saw it in 2004. What can I say? I'm a sucker for end of the world disaster movies. It's like my favorite. It's supernatural stuff like aliens and monsters and ghosts, not like horror, like, blood and guts and all that crap, but like suspense, like, what's a good one? Perfect example would be The Outsider. It was a show on HBO a couple of years ago. It was about a shape-shifting monster, starred Jason Bateman and a couple of other well-known actors, based on a Stephen King story. That's the sort of stuff I like. So, of course, Day After Tomorrow is like catnip for me. And I was laughing my buns off. You want a good laugh while you ride through this storm, which might not be that huge of a storm. Although as it moves through Waukesha, it does look like I'm looking at Tom Walks. It does look like it's bringing an awful lot of lightning and very heavy rain right now. The skies we are on the very western edge of Milwaukee County, very eastern edge of Waukesha County. Skies within the last 5 minutes just got real dark. So a lot of you in our listening area is finally seeing, you are probably seeing, I should say, a whole lot of rain. But this is it. I'm not going to say that the initial forecasts were overblown because I can't see what's happening in other parts of the state right now. But for our little part, the storm front is coming through. It looks like those cells have now merged. Now the lead edge appears to be right at about Watertown. You're going to be hit in the next couple of minutes. It is moving very, very quickly. 55 miles an hour actually seems, in all my years of covering this, I've kind of made a cottage industry with betting up myself as to how fast these storm systems are moving. This thing might be moving 65 miles. I mean, it is cooking. It is going so fast. So yeah, look at that. Look at that. We got the velocity up for the Tom Walks forecast. In fact, can we put up Fox 6 right now? Producer Jeff, do you know how to do that? You do not. You do. Oh, you got to change that. Do we seriously only have one changer in here? We use the same changer for the TV in the studio and the TV in the producer. You know what? Don't even bother with it anymore. It's really fine. The movie is called Day After Tomorrow. People are. people are asking me. The movie is The Day After Tomorrow. And yes, the very last scene, another texter reminds me, is from the International Space Station. And there are astronauts looking down after half of the world, like the United States is basically destroyed by this climate disaster. And the astronauts say, the air, it looks so clear. Oh my gosh. We finally did it. We finally defeated pollution. And all we had to do was destroy the United States of America. It is one of the most hilariously liberal movies I've ever seen. All right. Spring Green Cash Contest word this hour is green. 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 You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword green to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked at random, you will win $1,000 in cash instantly. Now, if I may have a moment of personal privilege here. A lot of people are texting. A lot of people are emailing me saying, Dan, this storm was overhyped like it usually is. This is media hype. Folks, I will 100% agree with everything you say about the media. 100%. Overhyping this, that, anything, everything. Weather is not one of them. In fact, I would much rather a storm be hyped up so that people are prepared for the worst and then relieved when the worst doesn't happen, than the alternative, which is, we're going to get a little bit of rain. Everybody is out on a soccer field, and all of a sudden you've got 60-mile-an-hour winds. That has happened before, too. In fact, there was a snowstorm a couple of months ago, I think January, maybe, where they were predicting 2 inches, maybe an inch. Instead, we got 7 inches of snow. It was the biggest snowstorm of the entire season. It all melted. It was later. I think actually it was February. It all melted a couple of days later because we just had wild temperature fluctuations this past winter, the past couple of winters. Oh, maybe it's climate change. It's seasonal patterns. They're El Nino and La Nina patterns have way more to do with what kind of weather we get. This is the other thing. Like, we know the winds and the ocean and that giant flaming ball of gas that heats and lights our planet have a whole lot to do with tiny fluctuations in global temperature. It just absolutely boggles my mind that people think that what we're doing right now, that the type of car I drive is going to have any impact whatsoever on what the climate is like for my great grandchildren. When you've got Katy Perry literally taking a space trip with Gayle King, what do you think is burning more carbon? Leo DiCaprio is jetting his 22-year-old girlfriends to Monaco for dinner and then going back to Paris for breakfast. But I can't drive my SUV because it's destroying the planet. Okay. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. When we come back, we will get into the latest on the Hannah Dugan case, a plea today in federal court. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in just a second.
From the Lynch Buick GMC of West Bend Total Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
I'm Dan Voss from Cut and Go. Ugly and depressing and trees killed off by emerald ash, oak wilt, and Dutch elm disease are dangerous for friends and loved ones, even a potential liability. Slowly rotting, left-standing hardwood trees can weigh tens of thousands of pounds. Even seemingly smaller branches can weigh tens, even hundreds of pounds. With Cut and Go, there is no reason to risk injury or property damage. Live trees in precarious placement for an arborist to remove over homes, garages, commercial buildings, luxury landscapes are easily and safely laid on the ground by Cut and Go's NCCER crane-operated certified remote control automobile mounted articulating crane grapple saw operators. You can save big money and stock up on firewood by having Cut and Go put your trees on the ground for you to clean up or have a bonfire or split firewood. Or we can take it all with us when we leave. A tons of trees movement. cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com. Once again, that's cutandgotrees.com.
A little inside baseball that you may or may not know. I won't endorse a business unless I've used the product myself or I've thoroughly researched it and believe in it. Hi, everybody. It's Jay Weber. When the folks at Semperfi Roofing approached me to be their spokesman, I didn't need a new roof, so I went to work doing the research. I've got to tell you, I don't think I've ever seen customer reviews quite like what I found with Semperfi. Hundreds of 5-star reviews, and not just vanilla 5-star ratings or simple clicks. Semperfi's customers are very outspoken about the great customer service and expert installation they received. Look, hiring the right contractor is a big decision. There's a lot of fly-by-nighters out there. If you want a new roof perfectly installed for real peace of mind, I've already done the research for you. I cannot recommend Semperfi Roofing highly enough. Call for your free no-obligation estimate, 262-600-2910, 262-600-2910, or online at semperfiroofing.com. That's semperfiroofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Never drive drunk. If arrested for DUI, say nothing. Remember, anything that you say can and will be used against you in court. Even if a friendly arresting officer tells you otherwise, a first-time DUI is a big deal. A first-time drunk driving conviction stays on your record for life, can impact career opportunities far down the road, and even limit your ability to rent a car or travel abroad. Call my award-winning team of former state prosecutors for help. You are only guilty if you are convicted. GrieveLaw.com. That's GrieveLaw.com.
Dan O'Donnell here with my friend Daniel from Bayview Shade and Blind. Daniel, I love the work you guys did at our new home, and more importantly, my wife loves it too.
Appreciate that, Dan. We work with folks who really value having a trusted guide to walk them through the whole process, from choosing the right window treatments to professional installation. That's how we do it at Bayview Shade.
And you know what, Daniel? It really shows. Go to BayviewShade.com. They're sharing a little sunshine from their family to yours for 99 years.
When it comes to preparing for a crisis, it doesn't matter if you're a year early, a month early, or a day early, but you can't be a day late. That's why millions of Americans trust My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest preparedness company. Right now, you can get their 4-week emergency food supply, plus an incredible bonus, 4 free 72-hour food kits. That's an extra 12 days worth of food, absolutely free. This kit provides hearty, delicious meals for 4 weeks with 2,000 plus calories per day, 12 essential vitamins and minerals, and a shelf life of up to 25 years. And for a limited time, they're including 12 additional days of food absolutely free, which means right now is the best time to get prepared. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com today to claim your 4-week food kit, plus an extra 12 days of free food. Offer ends soon. Shop MyPatriotSupply.com today. MyPatriotSupply.com.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
We are getting reports of a possible tornado around Clover, and in fact, we do have a tornado warning that is going into effect in Columbia, Green Lake, Marquette counties until 5:30 p.m. We also have a tornado warning a little bit closer to us in Dodge County in this is looking like, Beaver Dam. This looks to be the epicenter. If we can, producer Jeff, let's go to Tom Walks with our friends over at Fox 6.
How the grain is expanding. Again, that's going to be the wind blowing toward the radar. The red is the wind blowing away from the radar. And here's the concern. Let's zoom in on that a little bit, Steph. Into southwest Dodge County, it's this area right here that's going to be where we could be starting to get more of that rotation. Now, according to the National Weather Service, the radar indicated tornado is located to the about 7 miles to the east of Columbus, and it's moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. So that's going to be right in this area here. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the reflectivity, Steph, with this? And I think, so I think they're actually geared maybe a little farther to the north.
Sure.
Maybe right in this area. Let's go back to the storm relative velocity and see. So they may be
northern.
Maybe a little more. I mean, it really honestly could be
so it's a little difficult to get to what Tom is saying. He's looking at the velocity of the wind and also which direction the wind is blowing. When you have two air masses that are sort of crashing into each other, they create that cyclone effect, which creates the tornadic activity. What he is focused on is an area of southwest Dodge County. This is directly southwest of Beaver Dam. I don't want to guess the mileage here, just looking at this map. This appears to be, as we said a couple of minutes ago, it did appear that the leading edge of this and the roughest spot, the best possible area where you could get that tornado touching down or the radar indicated tornadoes. I guess we do have one near Plover right now, and is that a warning or is a station off the air here at iHeartMedia Milwaukee? This storm is expected to, just within the next couple of minutes, be in Horicon by about 5:38. It will reach Hubbard by 5:41, Mayville at 5:48, the town of Addison by 5:59, and then the next big population center is West Bend at 6:16. At that point, we are going to start seeing it head into the Milwaukee area. So I'm just looking at the sky out here. Again, we are in far eastern Milwaukee County, far western Milwaukee County, eastern Waukesha County. And we are seeing, they've got a couple of radar indicated tornadoes at Horicon and Addison. That does not surprise me there as what I'm seeing. Can we go back just really quick to Tom Walks? He's focusing on this area as well.
This maybe just a bit later than we're seeing on the arrival times, but this is when you're really going to start to get in on this storm now. From Horicon shortly, the Hubbard area right around 5:40 to 5:41, and then into Mayville shortly after 5:45, Addison closer to 6, West Bend, stay tuned. We'll see how this tracks, but right now about 6:15, if this ends up into West Bend, Addison and West Bend, you are not under this tornado warning, but we are seeing that for Beaver Dam. We are also seeing that for the Mayville area.
The National Weather Service in Milwaukee-Sullivan has issued a tornado warning for central Dodge County in southeastern Wisconsin until 6:15 p.m. At 5:26 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 7 miles east of Columbus, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. Hazard, tornado and golf ball size hail. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Beaver Dam, Hartford, Mayville, Columbus, Horicon, Juneau, Hustisford, Iron Ridge, Burnett, Rubicon, Woodland, Reevesville, Neosho, Richwood, Clyman, Lowell, Kikoski, Danville, Minnesota Junction, and Leipzig. Other landmarks included are the following location: Horicon Marsh. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris.
Freaks me out. I get really anxious, really scared when a tornado warning is issued, and that is totally normal. There's only one thing that you and your family need to do right now, and that's get into your tornado safe location.
And that is Tom Walks. He himself is not scared of tornado warnings, as this is what he does. You heard, if you were listening to us on WISN, the National Weather Service did just issue a tornado warning, Central Dodge County, until 6:15. This is the area that we're talking about as we are seeing radar indicated rotation. This does not necessarily mean, and I want to just explain very briefly the difference for those who don't quite get that. Radar indicated means what Tom is doing on TV is he's showing the way that the air is rotating. Radar will indicate, okay, the rotation is such that we believe that there is a tornado. It doesn't necessarily mean that it touched down. You will often get, in fact, I can remember very vividly about 15 years ago, driving 94 West out to Madison for a wedding, and my wife and I seeing off in the distance tornadoes forming in the sky, not touching down, but you would see that rotation. That would be if we were a trained spotter. If I was a trained spotter, that would have been what's known as a spotter indicated tornado or spotter indicated, circular, whatever they call it, a tornado that has not touched down. So when you have a spotter indicated tornado, that's when it can be totally confirmed that, okay, we have a tornado on the ground. And what is interesting is a lot of times in very sparsely populated areas, there are tornadoes that touch down more often than you think. We categorize them by their strength based on the amount of damage that they do, the wind speed that they get. When it gets dangerous is where we have right now. If you are in Beaver Dam, if you are anywhere in Central Dodge County, get to the basement, just get down, hang out, listen to me. If you still have power, put on the TV, watch Fox 6, watch our partners at Tom Walks and his team over on Fox 6. I think I just heard, even through our soundproof windows behind me, the first rumbles of thunder coming through. It is obviously just hitting hard. It appears to have hit Partyville very hard within the last couple of minutes. If I'm looking at this, this is the same basic radar that Tom Walks has up on Fox 6, and that this is heading towards southeast Wisconsin right now. But the immediate concern, of course, is in Central Dodge County. Again, if you are in the area, if you are in Central Dodge County or Eastern Dodge County, it's probably a good idea. Get down to the basement. Worst thing you can do is be outside trying to film it, trying to get a selfie with the tornado coming down in the background. This is nothing new. This is no new information, but you do need to always be weather aware. If you are on the road, and this is critical. You need to get under a bridge if you can. If you can pull over, do not try. If you are driving in the way of the storm, you want to pull over. If you are outside, seek shelter immediately. Get to a park bathroom. If you can't get indoors, get to the lowest lying area you can. When people think of tornadoes, obviously the Wizard of Oz is prominent in people's mind. You see the old granny flying away. The danger, and it is a grave danger, is flying debris hitting you. So you want to get as low to the ground as possible. And that is only if you're stuck outdoors. If you don't have to be outside right now, just don't be outside. If you don't have to be on the road, don't be on the road. We will stay with you until, well, we do have to get the remainder of these commercials in because we've got WIBA to consider as well. I am going to stay on the air, however, at least on WISN until the tornado warning is over. It does appear to me, based on what I'm seeing right now, and just the warm air is allowing this storm system to feed, and it's really gaining in intensity. I was sort of hoping that the worst of it wouldn't pop until it was over the lake. It does appear that the system has slowed down just enough that we are starting to see some very, very heavy lightning, heavy rain. We are seeing a potential tornadic activity in the area of central.
The National Weather Service in Milwaukee-Sullivan has issued a tornado warning for southwestern Fond du Lac County in east central Wisconsin, southeastern Green Lake County in south central Wisconsin, northeastern Columbia County in south central Wisconsin, northwestern Dodge County in southeastern Wisconsin until 6 p.m. At 5:33 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Randolph, 13 miles west of Waupun, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. Hazard, tornado and golf ball size hail. Source, weather spotters reported funnel cloud. A funnel cloud was reported east of Cambria. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Waupun, Randolph, Markeson, Oakfield, Brandon, Alto, Manchester, Fairwater, Friesland, Oak Center, and Lagoda. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris.
You just heard the National Weather Service update with a tornado warning for parts of Columbia, Green Lake, and Fond du Lac counties until 6 p.m. as this storm is moving through those areas. You saw a spotter-indicated funnel cloud. That is a rotation that has not touched the ground. We do not have yet a spotter-indicated tornado on the ground, but the conditions are ripe for these. This is the time to get, as the automation, the computerized voice said during that warning, it is time. If you are in any of those areas, get to the basement, get to an interior room of the house. Don't worry about getting pictures or video of this. You want to stay safe. The most important thing is to stay safe. Make sure if the power goes out, you've got battery operated radio. You've got your phone. You're listening to me on iHeart. We are going to stay with this as long as we can. However, do we have 2 more commercial breaks? Scott, Jeff, I'm sorry. Shoot. All right. We're going to try to get to one right now. When we come back, we'll have the latest on the storms moving through southeastern and south central Wisconsin. Stay tuned. It's the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Southbound 4145, 25 minutes from Good Hope to the Zoo. Heavy with roadwork Appleton to Burleigh. Southbound 43, taking 26 from Brown Deer to the Marquette. Jammed Keefe on in at the Marquette. A crash on the right shoulder. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
All right, want to welcome the newest sponsor of the Dan O'Donnell Show, and we really do appreciate them. They are Weather Pro Exteriors. So basically, they're the best in town if you need roofing, siding, windows, and doors. And let's face it, after the long winter, now we're getting into the warmer spring months. This is the perfect time to get those remodeling projects done. And let's face it, they're not as simple as they might seem. That's why you need the pros at Weather Pro Exteriors. They deliver the highest quality products, the best service, and what I like even more, and I always make a point to only endorse local family-owned and operated businesses, and Weather Pro Exteriors is a great one. Look, your home is your biggest investment. Make sure it's protected with Weather Pro Exteriors. So schedule your free project estimate today at weatherproexteriors.com. Once again, weatherproexteriors.com.
I'm Larry Brinkman, president of Dornbrook Construction. Dornbrook Construction has installed concrete in every industrial and commercial setting from the Milwaukee Airport to Campbell's Soup. From big shots in manufacturing and industry, locally as well as the up-and-coming businesses in southeastern Wisconsin. Big business chooses Dornbrook because they know Dornbrook is ACI certified, fully licensed, insured, and bonded. And they know for 25 years, Dornbrook stands behind every square foot of concrete we install. Little businesses choose Dornbrook for all those reasons and also because they can afford to choose Dornbrook. Dornbrook is industry's choice for commercial concrete because we do perfect business efficiency-minded preparation and installation on every job. We know you aren't closing your business to have concrete work done. 25 years of experience ensures your loading dock or dumpster pad or machine base or huge flat concrete job isn't our first go-round. Standing behind the concrete Wisconsin businesses and residents stand on Dornbrook Construction. DornbrookConstruction.com. 414-333-0642.
I'm Kelly Lammert with Clean Living Environments. Clean Living Environments' superior agitation, high-powered suction gets more filth out of your furnace ducts. Crud doesn't unstick from surfaces. It became glued in place over years of humid, then dry, then humid airflow. Vacuum cleaners agitate. Suction alone doesn't get carpet clean. Next, Clean Living Environments gets more wasted air out of ducts with AeroSeal duct sealing. Loosely fit together tin pipes snakes from the furnace through walls to vents. Loosely boxed off stud spaces and right angle turns return unheated or cooled air to furnaces. Dank basement air is sucked into gaps and distributed throughout the house, while tonnage of heated or cooled air escapes before being distributed throughout the home, resulting in more dust, musty smells, not enough heated or cooled air to parts of the house, and larger energy bills. Clean Living Environments duct sealing reduces air duct leakage 70 to 99%, reducing gas consumption while increasing whole home comfort and cleanliness. Get more out of your ducts. CleanLivingEnvironments.com. That's CleanLivingEnvironments.com.
I'm Victor Harding. If you or someone you love is injured, I highly recommend Best Lawyers Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year, Wachowski's Frank Crivello.
Frank here. If you're injured, the quality of your attorney and law firm will likely have greater impact on the compensation you receive than even the facts of your case. I highly recommend Best Lawyers Product Liability Attorney of the Year, Wachowski's Victor Harding.
The quality of your attorney and law firm are huge factors in the compensation injured Wisconsinites receive. Injured?
It is about the money.
Wachowski.com.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
This time of year can be tough on a number of areas in your home. This is Dan O'Donnell, and if you're struggling with any electrical issues, I recommend the superheroes at Current Electric. Chuck Smith, a Brookfield Central grad, started Current Electric over 40 years ago. His mission was to serve our community with integrity and quality, and has done that at Current Electric. If you need something as small as an outlet or switch repair or a whole home rewiring, call on the superheroes from Current Electric. Go to callcurrent.com.
Have you seen our billboards as you're driving around town? Do you wonder what we mean by advisors for real life? At Ellenbecker Investment Group, we make a commitment to our clients, employees, and community to meet you where you are with unmatched personal attention and guide you along your financial journey with honesty, expertise, and an unwavering commitment to your well-being. We're proud to make this commitment to you publicly because we, Ellenbecker Investment Group, really are advisors for real life.
Made for This Mountain exists to empower listeners to rise above their struggles and face the mountain in front of them. So during Mental Health Awareness Month, focus on your emotional well-being. Tune into the podcast and climb that mountain.
You will never be able to change or grow through the thing that you refuse to identify. The thing that you refuse to say, hey, this is my mountain. This is the struggle.
Listen to Made for This Mountain on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Made for This Mountain.
Both grateful and humble for the unwavering support of our listeners. It's because of you that this is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN.
Reports of a lot of hail, Oconomowoc, just east of Holy Hill. Wow. That's got to be baseball-sized hail just east of Castle Rock Lake. Quarter-inch hail just passed through Oconomowoc. Tornado sirens going off in Fond du Lac, which would make sense since you are under a tornado warning until 6 o'clock p.m. So about 10 minutes from now, it looks like the worst of the storm has just passed through Beaver Dam, at least according to the radar from Fox 6. We're seeing, oh boy, now it looks like a lot of debris in Juneau and yeah, let's go to Fox 6. Let's go back to Tom Walks as he's talking about the debris and some of the wind speeds in Juneau.
As that debris, right? Because the radar is able to pick up essentially the shape of rain and the shape of other debris that might be flying through the air. So that's the concern here, is that this could be debris making its way through Juneau. So again, it's over you right now, Juneau. Stay in your tornado safe location. This is only going to last for just a couple of minutes here as it's crossing 26 right now. And then folks to the northeast of Juneau, the Hubbard area, Mayville, I know you're still a ways from that, but you definitely need to be in your tornado safe location in the Mayville, Theresa areas with time here potentially as well. So Mayville, Hubbard, you need to be in your safe spot. Juneau, it's going right over you right now. And again, can we put that into motion maybe over the last 5 or 10 minutes? Sure. I'd like to see.
All right, let's take it back from Tom Walks over at Fox 6. We do have that tornado warning still up in central Dodge County as well until 6:15, as you just heard Tom say. If you're in Mayville, if you're in Dodge, if you're in Burnett, Hubbard, get into your tornado safe locations. What a good time for weather.com to bug out on me as I was looking at their radar as well to try to get a sense of exactly where this storm is getting to its worst. Unfortunately, we have one more break. One more break in the show. Okay, we're going to take our final break, try to see if the National Weather Service allows some of these warnings to expire as this storm moves east. It looks like it's staying pretty consistent with respect to the wind speed, staying pretty consistent with respect to the strength of it. So it does appear that it's not dissipating all that much as it moves through the western part of southeast Wisconsin. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show as we are covering the major storm system moving through our area. We'll be right back.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Sky all of a sudden in the last couple of minutes got real dark at the pristine iHeartMedia studios in Greenfield, Wisconsin. I am seeing videos of very, very big hail. This apparently is in the town of Ottawa in Waukesha County. This looks like golf ball sized at least, if not larger than that. We're getting reports of quarter-inch sized hail already in Mukwonago. That appears to be, for most parts of our listening area, the biggest issue with this storm, as we are seeing high winds and there is at least some funnel cloud activity off to our west. And just for perspective, we are in the far southeast corner of Milwaukee County, southwest corner, I should say, the far east of Waukesha County. We are right on the border at about 124th and Howard, 124th Street being the border between Milwaukee County and Waukesha County. We have not seen rain yet. However, in east central Dodge County, there is a tornado warning that remains in effect until 6:15. This includes the cities of Horicon, Juneau, Mayville. Tornado warning is, I believe, going to be allowed to expire in about 30 seconds for Columbia, Dodge, Fond du Lac, Green Lake counties. There is, however, a tornado warning that was just issued for Portage, Wapaka, and Waushara counties. That's in effect until 6:30. We are going to stay with continuing coverage for a while.
Listen to Jay Weber, weekday mornings 6 to 9 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee. Make WISN the number one preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. Judge Hannah Dugan pleaded not guilty in federal court this morning. Dozens of protesters in support of the judge showed up outside the federal courthouse in downtown Milwaukee. That's where Fox 6's Bill Miston is.
That protest has since left here outside the federal building, all for Judge Hannah Dugan, who appeared before Magistrate Judge Stephen Dries this morning for an arraignment and plea hearing after a federal grand jury indicted her on 2 counts of aiding an undocumented man evade arrest and obstructing federal agents. Now, the hearing in court today, about 4 minutes long. Dugan sat between her attorneys, Stephen Biskupik, the former U.S. attorney here in the Eastern District, as well as Jason Luzak and Nicole Masnica, both high-profile, high-end attorneys with Gimbel, Riley, Guerin, and Brown, a firm here in Milwaukee.
A trial date has been set for July 21st. We should expect multiple high-profile cases before the Wisconsin Supreme Court to get rulings soon.
Retiring liberal Justice Ann Walsh Bradley is set to end her 30th year in the court next month, and that means the court will have to deliver opinions in a number of cases. That includes a full ruling on Wisconsin's current abortion laws, rulings on Wisconsin Act 10, which restricts collective bargaining for public unions, a ruling on WIAA actions against student athletes, and a ruling on PFAS regulations. There's also a challenge from Governor Tony Evers against the legislative committee that handles how state agencies are allowed to create rules, which has consistently blocked actions by Evers' office. Bradley's last day is June 30th. Raymond Newport, Wisconsin Radio Network.
Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard. Brewers are off today. They open up a 3-game weekend series at home against the Twins tomorrow night. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Our favorite 4-letter word. Free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Secure low appliance prices all month long on top brands like GE Profile, Cafe, and more during the locked-in pricing sale at Grand Appliance. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local Grand showroom. That's Grand Appliance, appliance experts since 1930.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for my friends at the Lynch family of dealerships. And one of my favorite things about Lynch is they give back to the communities they do business in. And this month, they're honoring our military personnel. For the month of May, it's Military Appreciation Appreciation Month at Lynch, members of the military receive $1,000 off all eligible new cars. And with over 700 new vehicles in stock, Lynch likely has the vehicle you're looking for all ready to go. And every vehicle comes with Lynch Protected. It covers your tires, windshield, and paint for 1 year and keeps your vehicle looking like new. Financing as low as 0%. Also available this month, Military Appreciation Month, at your favorite Lynch location in Burlington, Kenosha, West Bend, or one of their 3 rooftops in Mukwonago. Military Appreciation Month with $1,000 off new vehicles and financing as low as 0% at the Lynch family of dealerships. Visit shoplynch.com.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger, and you can get started now by saving when you join today. We have all the best-in-class equipment you could ever need, and you can work out your way on your time at any convenient location near you. Most open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Offer ends May 16th.
See Home Club for details.
Hi, it's Rob Radisky here, a veteran designer at Wisconsin Kitchen Mart, and we're inviting you to come take a look at the fully built kitchens and baths in our sprawling 18,000 square foot showroom. It's truly one of a kind, and while showcasing the special attention to detail we put into our work as designers, this enormous showroom gives you the opportunity to envision real possibilities for your home. For almost 75 years, the dedicated team at Wisconsin Kitchen Mart has created kitchen and bathroom remodels that have set us apart as the best. We create kitchens that balance style and efficiency. The same goes for bathrooms too. See the full displays in our 18,000 square foot showroom. With our wide selection of flooring, Play-Doh custom cabinetry, appliances, and countertops, you'll get everything you need in one spot. For a free consult and more info, visit wisconsinkitchenmart.com or visit our showroom to see for yourself. Higher design, higher style, higher Wisconsin Kitchen Mart.
When it comes to preparing for a crisis, it doesn't matter if you're a year early, a month early, or a day early, but you can't be a day late. That's why millions of Americans trust My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest preparedness company. Right now, you can get their 4-week emergency food supply, plus an incredible bonus, 4 free 72-hour food kits. That's an extra 12 days worth of food, absolutely free. Provide 4,000 vitamins and minerals, and a shelf life of up to 25 years. And for a limited time, they're including 12 additional days of food absolutely free, which means right now is the best time to get prepared. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today to claim your 4-week food kit, plus an extra 12 days of free food. Offer ends soon. Shop mypatriotsupply.com today. mypatriotsupply.com.
Hey, this is Lincoln Kennedy. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Major League Baseball's rivalry weekend opens tomorrow with the Brewers hosting Minnesota. The Brew Crew look for their second straight. The Admirals visit Texas for Game 1 of the AHL Central Division Finals. It's the third straight year that the teams have met in the postseason. Jordan Spieth is a man on a mission at this week's PGA Championship as he looks to complete golf's career Grand Slam. I'm Seth Everett.
The National Weather Service in Milwaukee-Sullivan has issued a tornado warning for southeastern Fond du Lac County and east central Wisconsin, northwestern Washington County in southeastern Wisconsin, northeastern Dodge County in southeastern Wisconsin until 6:30 p.m. At 6:01 p.m., a confirmed tornado was located over Mayville, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. Hazard, damaging tornado and hail up to 2 inches in diameter. Source, weather spotters confirmed tornado. A tornado was reported near Mayville. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Mayville, Kewaskum, Lomira, Campbellsport, Theresa, Ashford, Byron, Eden, Brownsville, Wayne, Chikoski, Geneva, Waukesta, Knowles, and Newfane. Other landmarks included are the following location: Hurricane Marsh. To repeat, a tornado is on the ground. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris.
Abu Dhabi. Where were they going?
They're in the middle of the desert, and then they climb into